for that, but by an average margin of just under 5 points. So they are no easy beats, even if they haven't beaten the Sharks in those past 10 occasions. The last win was actually round 5, 2020, and virtually the entire Dragons team, apart from Blake Laurie on the bench, has changed. So he's the only player remaining from that day, except Cameron McInnes, who was St.George Illawarra's captain that day. Of course, now he leads the Sharks, and of course they embark on the Dragons in some ways a new era, or at least further reassurance of a long-term future with coach Shane Flanagan with his contract extension, his re-signing yesterday. The team's not too far away here. Alongside me is former Tiger Bulldog and World Cup winning Kiwi squad member Dean Hallertau. G'day, Shop.
G'day, Spriggy. And look, just in line with that re-signing and what it means for a new leaf for the Dragons and trying to re-establish themselves or build. We've got a couple of debutants today, which goes with that, right? So it is a good space, I guess, for the Dragons to be in. And if they can upset the Sharks here today, even though they did get that win last week, it makes people feel good about where the Dragons are at, I think.
Hayden Buchanan will debut in the centres, replacing Matt Feeney, who's out with a groin injury. So Hayden Buchanan wearing jersey number 18. The Gerringong Lions, they've had a fantastic, it's a great club, of course. The Sims family from there, the Wisharts as well, which another great football family down that way. But this year we've seen Dylan Egan, of course, is since injured. Hamish Stewart, who will also start here in the second row, coming from that club. And also debuting is Jacob Halangahu at 18 years of age. So two debutants, one starting, one on the bench for Shane Flanagan's St. George Illawarra Dragons here at home today. You can text us as always, 0467 920 222. It's a great day at the footy, as I say. Most of the clouds and the rain, it's still pretty cloudy, but the rain has gone away for now. We'll get to Kanataka on the touchline very, very shortly, but yes, it's all set for a start here in just a few moments' time at Cogra Jubilee. And it's obviously, of course, also T. Wilton's 100th game, so a milestone for the Sharks back rower.
He's been very solid over his time in the game. He's just a really good, rounded back rower, and he's quite capable. He's got some rep in his future, I think.
The teams walk out side by side, as they do during Indigenous round, led out by Kamilaroi man Will Kennedy and Wiradjuri man Tyrell Sloan. Of course, there's great representation across these sides as well. The NRLW players also involved: Bobby Law, Ella Costa, Aaliyah Ingram for the Dragons, also involved in that walkout there for the players, which is just great to see. So Nico Hines, Jesse Ramian, Will Kennedy, Braden Trindle for the Sharks, and they all line up. It's women's and men's players side by side, which is just brilliant here, standing arm in arm on the western side of Jubilee Stadium here at Cogra. Sharks fullback Will Kennedy, wingers are Katoa and Molatalo, centres Ramian and Talakai, 5'8" Trindle, halfback Hines, lock and captain Cameron McInnes, second rowers Britton Nickera and Teague Wilton, 100th game for him today. Props Adam Fanua Blake and Braden Hamlin-Welle, hooker Blake Whaley, the bench is Toby Rudolph, Tom Hazelton, Billy Burns and Hoper Peru. 18th man Daniel Atkinson. We'll have the acknowledgement here made by Majida Beatty, who's a proud Wadati woman, and the acknowledgement here to welcome those that have come to Jubilee Stadium Cogra on increasingly fine afternoon conditions here. The Dragons team, fullback Clint Gutherson, wingers Tyrell Sloan and Corey Allen, centres Moses Sully and Hayden Buchanan, 5'8" Lycan King Tongia, halfback Kyle Flanagan, lock Jack DeBellin, back row Luciano Leilua and Hamish Stewart, props Emre Gula and Dave Clemmer, hooker Damien Cook, the bench is Jacob Little, Hame Sele, Blake Laurie, and also on debut Jacob Halangahu. The 18th man is Ben Murdoch-Masilla for Shane Flanagan's 7 wins and 12 losses St. George Illawarra Dragons. So we're just about set here for the acknowledgement, and as I say, Majida Beatty, proud Wadati woman, who's making the acknowledgement here today on Bidjigal and Bediagal land. So we can't quite bring you the PA clean, but it is fantastic to have the smoking ceremony ongoing. As I say, kick off just a few minutes away here, Dean Hallertau, and great representation across these two clubs as well. And a nice touch having the women's and men's teams side by side.
Yeah, it's awesome looking out there and seeing both, as it goes, NRLW player, alternating all the way through, the referees as well on the end of those lines. So a real still coming together and a celebration and an acknowledgement to Indigenous round, which we know is such a big part of the rugby league calendar over 2 weeks this year.
Referee is Ashley Klein. Our touch officials are Daniel Luttringer and Ziggy Siklasa-Radamski. And Chris Butler is in the bunker. What about the game itself, Shop? Because as we've mentioned, and we heard the guys mention before as well, the Sharks are rightly favoured, but it's a derby. They'll be feeling in this for the Dragons as well. And one of those games they might just be able to pull off.
Yeah, well, that is correct. And after last week's win down in Wollongong, the Dragons will be feeling good and buoyed about their opportunity that's in front of them. A couple of young guys getting their debuts gives you like a little bit of an impetus to try and push and make it a memorable one for them. The Sharks, they play very expansive. They're a good attacking football team. The wet weather can sort of play that down a little bit, but last week they did well against the Cowboys. They executed really well in spite of those conditions.
Loud cheer here as well as the acknowledgement and the welcome concludes, and the kick-off here is just moments away. Mick Cronin, couldn't forget him. Thank you to a few of those who have texted, speaking of Gerringong players, as Hayden Buchanan joins the likes of them to play first-grade football as well. Kiana Takarangi is on touchline for us this afternoon. Kiana, what's it like down there at the moment?
Hey boys, the conditions are great down here on the field. The rain has cleared, so there's blue skies up above my head, which I'm very happy about. But there was a little bit of rain earlier, so the surface will still probably be a little bit slippery, but we're set for a great game of footy today.
What's your prediction?
I'm going the Sharkies.
Yeah, the Sharks are, as I say, favoured here, but the Dragons have given a good account of themselves. So, one, of course, against the Raiders last week. They had 4 losses before that, but by an average margin of 4.75. So it will be the Dragons to kick off, the Sharks to receive it in the southern end of Cogra Jubilee here for the first of our 3 games on this Saturday on ABC Sport. Sharks to win, listing in Albion Park after a close under-18s game by Kiama, who won by 4 points. Thank you, Louise, texting in, and I'll get a few of your longer texts as the game goes on. But massive day of footy coming up here. Dolphins, Roosters at Lang Park, Canterbury and the Warriors later on. But this is the first of our games underway. Dragons v Sharks. Here we go. Saturday afternoon football on ABC Sport. Dragons kick off, and here we go. Sharks bring it back here with a big hit up from Adam Fanua. In fact, he sort of runs across the defensive line, eventually taken down there by Clemmer and also Emre Gula. 20, make it 15 out, 20 in from the western side. Dummy half Whaley, what a player in form he is. Here's Talakai, centre field run early on as well, as the Sharks are in their Indigenous jersey designed by Fidjigal artist Jordan Adler, and the Dragons, Durham man Kane Wright designed their jersey. Of course, they re-signed their coach yesterday, Shane Flanagan. Bradley dummy half across here to his skipper McInnes. Back on the inside, Hamlin Welle is starting for the Sharks this afternoon. 8 short of the halfway, as this is second last play for the Sharks. Pressing up over halfway here with a little run again into the 3-man tackle goes the captain McInnes. Brayley fires it across right-hand side. Hines kick end of the set, travels down towards the 20-metre line in the corner, and it's Allen who's slung the ground down there, and they'll start a new set. The Dragons, their first set of the game, 15 out from their own line, northern end.
Yeah, typical start from the Sharks. They just roll down the field. Big men like Adam Fanua, Blake and Hamlin Welle give them plenty of go forward, and then a decent kick from Hines on the end of it all.
Here they go, right-hand side of the punt. They shift it now, the Dragons. 20 out, 20 in from the western side. And there is a nice close contact gain in there from Leilua. Play it here just shy of the 40. Cook first out of dummy half as well. Takes on Hamlin Welle. Steamrolls the bigger body somehow. And he'll play it there just short of the halfway line. Fed across here again to the halfback in Flanagan. Punts it downfield here onto the chest of Will Kennedy. And the Sharks fullback runs here into some open paddock. Gets away from Gula and also Clemmer. Eventually stopped there by Lycan King Tongia. The 5'8" makes the tackle. Right-hand side they go. And increasing sunshine here at Cogra on this Saturday afternoon. On that right edge they are. Hines dummy half. Spins it across left-hand side as another strong run, this time from Ramian. 5 short of halfway, 20 in from the eastern side. Brayley swings it across now. Molotalo, who was good last week, scored a couple of first-half tries. He's 40 up from the Dragons line. A couple of plays left this set now for the Sharks. Brayley across to McInnes, and now Hamlin Welle up that left-hand side, gains half a dozen. This will be last play for the Sharks. 30 out from that northern line the Dragons are defending. Brendle's kick high up in the air, travels down towards Tyrell Sloan, leaps up in that northwestern corner, and he's put down there by Talakai. He'll play out there 5 out from their own line here. The Dragons on the attack. It's 0-0 in the opening 2.5 minutes here on ABC Sport.
Yeah, again, a really good set from the Sharks to roll downfield, and I mentioned the big men bringing it through the middle, but on that occasion it was the outside backs getting in, giving him like a really good platform. Mulatalo, Katoa really carrying the ball strongly.
Allen involved, and now DeBellin on play too as well, tackled by Hamlin Welle, and also for Newell Blake in there. 25 out from their own line here. The St. George Illawarra Dragons, who will receive the first penalty of the game, as that high shot was in there from Blake Brayley. So they'll have the first advantage here. The Dragons from the eastern touchline. No score inside the first 4 minutes here on ABC Sport. Andy Carter on the touchline.
It was a good start there by both teams. It was a big roar that went up from the crowd there as the home team got a penalty. So good news for them.
So they tap here just inside Cronulla Sutherland's half as Hines makes the tackle there on Buchanan, his first carry in first grade football. He'd liken King Tonga back on the inside now for Clemmer. I mentioned a few of those guys, whether it's young names shop or established first graders who are out of contract for next year. He's one of them, Clemmer. Cook to the left-hand side, and now here goes Emre Gula, the former Raider and a recent 100 gamer. Stands in the tackle of McInnes. 25 out centre field. There's Clemmer again on that right-hand side of the park, taking the ground there by Wilton, 100 gamer, and also Brayley. Dummy half Cook. Across here now for Flanagan, onto DeBellin, and he's going low in the tackle there is Nickera, and stopped up top there by Nico Hines. This is last play Dragons. Cook with a kick here off the inside of the boot, and now it is there. And pouncing on the footy, Emre Gula scores behind the posts. A very deft kick on that last play from Damien Cook, and Emre Gula says thank you very much. St. George Illawarra in first. 4-0 kick to come Dragons. 4.5 played in the first half on ABC Sport.
Yeah, well, very important that penalty to bring the Dragons into attacking territory, and they've got some really good structure at the moment. Like King Tonga is doing a good job to run his team around the field. I know he's got the 6 on his back, but he's quite active through the middle of the field and setting up their plays. And then the experience of Damien Cook on last play jumps out, sees the space in behind the line. In these wet conditions, it's very hard to turn and make those adjustments. And Will Kennedy was actually placed just next to the ruck, so he was coming up to try and cover some space. He gets in behind, and Emre Gula goes across for his first try of the season.
If I sounded surprised, Kiana, it's because it's actually his first try since round 1 2023 for the front rower. Down to you.
Yeah, they accidentally just chucked up Madison Mulhull as the try scorer, so a bit of a giggle from the crowd there. But yeah, really good start there for the home team.
I thought it was just part of the great unity they've had here with the women's and men's teams sort of side by side. So flash up the women's player and the men's player at the same time. But so there was only a very slight bewilderment there from the crowd here. Earlier, the Sharks did beat the Dragons 20 points to 6 in the NRL women's competition. Here's Kyle Flanagan. And by the way, kicked 5 from 5 last week. 2 conversions, 3 penalties in Wollongong. And he's directly in front here, 13 metres out. And he makes no mistake. So it's Dragons 6, Sharks 0 here. 6 going first half here on ABC Sport. You're with Brett Sprigg in Hallertau. You can't take a rangi here for the first of our 3 games. 0467920222. A big shout out to my brother Buff in Mudgee. Go our Dragons, says Sandy. Get on your Sandy. Hi guys, let us know how Muscles, brackets Louis, goes at half time. My question is Buchanan that's making his debut. Is he Jack Buchanan's brother that played for the Tigers? Go Dragons. I don't know. From Anzac, the English Staffy Warilla. Thank you, and they've sent a picture of the Staffy in the Dragons jersey. Yes, there's a Legends game or a past players game at half time. We think. I don't know if the weather has caused a stoppage there, or if it's been.
They're playing.
They're going to go ahead. I think Louis insisted. I think he's hoping for the more rain, the better. He loves the mud, loves the slop. 6-0 here, the Dragons early on at Cogra Jubilee, and they get the footy from the kickoff. Cook dummy half swings it across here again to the run of Moses Sully, and he's claimed 15 out from his own line all the end. Cook off to the left for DeBellin, and now Lycan King Tonga is felled there by Teague Wilton and also Nico Hines. They get up and go again. 30 out from their own line. No real gain here though for Big Jack DeBellin. Played the Cook. Open side right now, Gutherson. It's his first real carry of the game so far. Tackled 7 metres short of the halfway here for the Dragons. Last play, 6-0 is their lead here on ABC Sport. Flanagan can just drive his kick downfield to the chest of Will Kennedy, and the opposing fullback with plenty of room to move here. He's too quick for Clemmer, but DeBellin grabs him from behind. So too in there Leilua. He'll play at 30 outs on the field now. Sharks on the attack. They trail 6-0 here on play 2. On the right edge, Hines back now again to Jesse Ramian. It was Sinbid last time these sides met. Jesse Ramian, a Wiradjuri man as well. They go to the halfway here, the Sharks. McInnes plays it to Brayley. On the second last, Vanua Blake to Hines. Feeds it back on the inside there. Quite low to Teague Wilton. Gains a dozen metres now. He's 30 outs on the field as the Sharks look to respond to this 6-0 early deficit. Trindle running kick last play. They're all chasing it through now. Gutherson launches. He had Militalo coming the other way, but Gutho brings it down in that northwestern corner of Jubilee Stadium here at Cogra, and it remains St.George Illawarra 6, Cronulla Sutherland 0. 8 minutes played first half.
Yeah, it was a little bit slow getting up there, Gutherson, so a bit of a knock on the way through, but both teams are up for this game. There's a fair intensity about it, and the conditions seem to be improving as it goes along. We can see the sun over most of the field at the moment, so hopefully that means that we get to see some more football, expansive football as the game goes on.
I think Kiana's happy as well in the sunshine here. Down to her shortly. Played there by Leilua. Come across now through centre field to Bellin, Flanagan, now Sully. Couple of strong runs in the game so far for him. Playing 30 out from his own line. Gutherson goes from dummy half. It is last play already here for the Dragons. A kick now from Cook, and now it's come to Kennedy. And the Sharks go back on the attack now on the halfway line. He jinks around 1-2. A good burst there from Will Kennedy before dragged down by Lycan King Tongia. 40 out from that northern line. The Sharks deep into Georgia Illawarra territory. Militalo back on the inside now for his fellow winger in Katoa. And he comes back on the inside before he's brought down by Emre Gould, the try scorer. The only try scorer in the game so far. It's 6 more here, the Sharks, for the ruck infringement. So a full set now, 20 out from that northern line. There's the first burst from Adam Vanua Blake. Good start there. 15 out now, northern end. Played to Brayley. Looks right but goes left. Kennedy, inside ball down to the milestone man, Wilton. And he's met front on there by Clemmer and also Gutherson. Now play left-hand side of the post, 7 metres out. Brayley across now to Trindle. On here to Nico Hines. The right-hand side, Ramian's got Katara on the outside. Shrugs away 1-2. Still going as Ramian's brought down deep in that northeastern corner of Cogra Jubilee. Katoa, back open side left now to Hines. And Wilton, in fact McInnes, charging toward the line now. He's stopped 9 metres shy. 6-0 is the Dragons lead. Couple of plays left here for the Sharks. It's come back here. Kennedy, who was run down by Moses Sully. The footy's come loose. Flanagan dives on that. Ash Klein saying it was firstly knocked on by the Sharks, and it will be a scrum feed for the Dragons. Centrefield scrum, 10 out from their own line at northern end. 6-0 is the home side's lead here at Cogra. 10 gone first half. Back to Kiana on the touchline.
It was a really great read there by Moses Sully, shooting up and just giving no time to Will Kennedy, forcing the error. So just what they needed after giving a restart.
Yeah, it's a favourite side for the Sharks, their left side. They had a bit of joy against the Cowboys last week, and obviously the Dragons have done their homework, and they expect to see Will Kennedy looping around the back, and Braden Trindle heavily involved as well. So well shut down, like Kiana said.
Centrefield scrum with the right. Allen's coughed the footy up there, and that big tackle from Ramian. Bounce back here for Adam Vanua Blake. So the Sharks turn defence into attack once more. Very much so. Deep in that northeastern corner. Brayley off to Hines. On here, Hamlin. Well, a burst through. 1-2. Breaks a third tackle and scores next to the posts. So the Sharks do hit back. Dear, oh dear. What a chaotic couple of minutes that was for St. George Illawarra. They had the scrum. Allen was dispossessed in just a vicious tackle from Jesse Ramian. And Vanua Blake began the run from there. And Braden Hamlin-Welle can finish off with a try. Two very unlikely first try scorers here. And Emre Guler at one end and Braden Hamlin-Welle at the other. And it's 6-4, kick to come Shark.
Yes, Briggy, and also his first one for the year there, Hamlin-Uele. So big moment there for the front row.
I've got it here. It's not quite as much. It's round 19, 2024.
Okay, so there's less of a gap than Emre. But, they get the opportunity through the mistake from Corey Allen, the Sharks, and they spring straight into action. Really nice play coming deep from that right-hand corner, close to the line. It's always hard to throw an attacking play on when you're close to the line because you know the defence is going to be in your face. But drifting across field, it was Nico Hines through a really nice flat pass there to Hamlin-Uele, who bursts through, runs a really tight line, too strong, that close to it.
We'll wait for the conversion here from Nico Hines, who's only a very slight angle right-hand side of the post, 12 metres out. Nico Hines, of course, has spoken about his Wiradjuri ancestry as well. and what Indigenous round means to him. And he's lining up the kick here to make it 6-all, the early scoreline here in the derby at Cogra. Packed Eastern Hill in front of the scoreboard. A bit more sparse at that northern end where the ball's going right now, and the flags are up to make it Cronulla Sutherland 6, St.George Illawarra 6. Danny Carr on the touchline.
Yeah, Braden will be very happy with that. He's come into the starting team after being named on the bench originally, so great to see him get on the board.
Yeah, the New Zealand and Samoa international, Braden Hamlin-Welle, the Sharks' first try scorer of the day. Hines 1 from 1. Around the grounds, by the way, as well, in the Jersey flag. It's just gone full time. Came out of 24, beaten the Storm 18. Second half, Tigers 34, leads Kaiviti Silktails 10. That's Jersey flag. New South Wales Cup full time, Bulldog 30, Warriors 34. They've beaten them, the Warriors, 34 to 30. Second half, Manly 24, Newcastle 12. First half, Newtown Jets trail the Panthers, Penrith 6-0. And there's other scores in Queensland as well. Second half, women's comp there. Sunshine Coast Falcon 34, Central Queensland Capras 4. First half, Wynnum Manly 6, lead Western Clydesdales 0. Queensland Cup first half, Burleigh Bears and Redcliffe are 0-all early stages there. 6-all here at Cogra, Dragons Sharks on ABC Sport. Here's Molotalo midway through the set here for the Sharks, and he's stopped 35 out from his own line. Brayley across open side right to Teague Wilton, and he's tackled by Damien Cook. Of course, no dummy half or no player has made more tackles in the comp than Blake Brayley. It's a nice head-to-head matchup though. Brayley against former New South Wales and Australian hooker and Damien Cook. Hines here plays it now for the Sharks. Now a kick from dummy half from Brayley, and he does find touch on. In fact, yeah, he's got a. No, it's not a 40-20. It was a well short then. Sorry, my parallax error at this ground is a bit unbecoming. So it will be a George Illawarra ball, 10 metres out from their own line at northern end.
It's not a bad option though, Blake Brayley. You've got his time off here.
The trainers requested a HIA.
It looks like David Clemmer.
On the line too, Emery.
The trainers are taking out the back there, so Hume Saleh's got the card in his hand coming on the field, but yeah, the option of Blake Brayley jumping out of dummy half, they'll probably look to use that a bit more. We always know that Nico Hines is going to be their primary kicker. Braden Trindle's a decent backup, but if the option's all right, then going for Brayley's not a bad one.
Big Daddy in Coffs Harbour, thank you for your text. Ants from Levine says, happy Indigenous rounds, Briggy Dino and Kiana, really proud of the team. The form of my green machine this season. I'm riding my mob all the way to the GF in 2025. Thank you, Ants. Here is St. George Illawarra on the attack. They scored the first try this game through Emre Gula, who has the ball and playing it now. And the Sharks hit back through Braden Hamlin-Welle. Here they go, Jack de Bellin to St. George Illawarra. Played to Cook. And now Gutherson gains 8-9 metres. Tackled on halfway now for the home side. To Cook, who swings it back to the left-hand side. Last play to kick from Lycan King Tonga. Goes up into an increasingly sunny sky here at Cogra. Kennedy brings it away here for the Sharks, and he's claimed 25 out from his own line at southern end. Trindle swings it across here for Sione Katoa. Bit of a try-scoring drought for him as well. He scored 2 tries last time these sides met. Of course, had a delayed start to the year. Did the Tonga International with a shoulder injury, Katoa. Here's Talakai. And now Brayley off to McInnes, who hits and spins on halfway. This is second last play. Brayley bursts the dummy half as well. She has it back on the inside now to Britton Nickera, and he's stopped 35 out from his own line, centre field. Last play, Sharks. Brayley finds left-hand side, Trindle. Hurried kick up in the air. Sloan watchful. Molotalo comes through. Sloan was very confident and comfortable, and he'll play it here 4 out from his own line in that northwestern corner of Cogra Jubilee. 6-all the scoreline here. 15 gone first half on ABC Sport.
Yeah, you can just feel that the Sharks are winning the ground battle at the moment. We've spent more time looking to our left, which is the Dragons' end of the field. So the Sharks are playing with a bit of momentum and they're rolling down the field comfortably. The Dragons just a little bit difficult coming out of their own end.
And there is Hamish Stewart, so coming off the bench, making a bit of a run here as well. Now Gutherson 30 out from his own line. Cook swings it across, open side right for Flanagan. He can punt it downfield. Kennedy chasing it back with a flight, and it remains here. St.George, Illawarra 6, Cronulla, Sutherland, the Sharks 6 here on ABC Sport. You're with Brett Sprigg, Dean Hallertau, going to Rungy for the first of our 3 games. Round the grounds AFL, equal to time, it's Richmond 44, leads Kilda 36. Offload comes here from Ramian back to Hines, and he gains 6 more metres now for the Sharks, playing it just short of halfway. Up the right-hand side they go again, looking dangerous, and again involved was Jesse Ramian. Played back to his halfback, Hines. The dummy half pass to Brayley, and now McInnes takes on Stewart, and stopped there by a couple of those bodies in there. Hame Sele, as you mentioned, coming off the bench. Brayley, meanwhile, dummy half, spots up Hadlin Welle, and he's tackled 20 outs in the field. Last play, Cronulla. Trindle with his high kick. Mortallo leaps in. Oh, Teague Wilton got there first in the air. Is there a grounding? I don't think so. He was wrapped up by 2 or 3 Dragons defenders. Ashley Klein saying no try for now.
Tackle. Obviously, to consider penalty try and professional fouls.
Okay.
Was ever contesting the ball or not?
So it must have been. I was watching Mortallo initially, and then Teague Wilton. We'll see on the replay here. I reckon pretty quick smart in Hallertau.
It was a great leap.
Yeah.
Teague Wilton.
About 3 or 4 deep.
Both players are originally contesting for the ball. Just need to make sure Teague takes clean possession.
Which I think he does.
So he's tackled it. They're both in the air, but he's...
The judgment will be whether or not he's going for the ball there, Sloan, or if he's
tackling him in the air.
Tackling him in the air, which he may sort of change to. I didn't think he got it down first look.
Didn't look like he was convinced either, Teague Wilton.
Teague takes clean possession of the ball now. Ooh. Now looking at Tyrell's actions, whether he changes from competing to making a tackle, which he does.
Does he get it down there?
Due to how close Teague gets to putting the ball down on that first attempt, in our opinion, without the foul and Tyrell completing that tackle, the try would have been scored. We have a decision.
The penalty try.
Penalty try, yeah.
That surprises me a little bit. Kiana, what did you reckon? But Teague Wilton has a try here. It's going to be 10-6 to come Sharks.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that call. The fans are very upset about it as well. They're booing, but it's great for Teague. It's his 100th game and he gets a meat pie. How good.
Yeah, well, I must have been all possible scenarios in the bunker then, Dean Hallertau. I wasn't convinced that would be the one, but...
I understand the logic, but he tackles him in the air, so if he doesn't tackle him, which you can see the referee explaining to Damien Cook right now, if he doesn't tackle him in the air...
You can't be waiting there and making the tackle and stopping the try-scoring action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, they weren't, though. This is our opinion. We're ruling on it.
Ash Klein and Damien Cook having a chat there.
As well.
So, yeah, from directly in front. So a chance here to make it 12-6 kick to come for the Sharks. And the Dragons fans weren't happy with that. Underway in the NRL Rugby, by the way. First half, Newcastle 6, leads West Tigers 0. Sheridan Gallagher with the try and Jesse Southwell converting. Nico Hines 1 for 1 so far this afternoon. After a slow start, the Sharks with back-to-back tries. That one a penalty try to Teague Wilton. His 100th NRL game. Very soon to be 12-6 the scoreline here at a now dry and sunny Cogra Jubilee. Flags are up, 12-6 indeed. The Sharks lead here. 0467920222. I just gave your AFL score, staff. Thank you for that. Where's Colin Cleveland says if Penrith win 1 or 2 of their last games, they will get their 5th, so they know how to beat their competition even before finals. Yeah, it's a tougher run home for the Panthers, but I've got a feeling shocked that once they're 4th now, assuming the Warriors don't beat the Bulldogs tonight, which is a strong assumption.
There's nothing too tough for the Panthers.
No.
They've shown that for a long time now.
For all the fun of, Canberra this year and Canterbury Bankstown as well, I'm sort of thinking, gee, we're looking at another Penrith Melbourne at the pointy end, like we've had a few times. 12-6 here, the Sharks lead the Dragons, by the way. One of these teams is playing finals, one is not, but it's a derby here in, as I say, increasingly fine conditions at Jubilee Stadium, Cogra. Here's Talakai for the Sharks, and he straightens his run over the 30-metre line here. In fact, offloads back to Nico Hines, and now Hamlin Welle tried to offload on his run there, but it went back into the path of Luciano Leilua, and the Dragons on that loose ball for a 0 tackle. Hilly 5 inside Sharks territory at the southern end of Cogra. Hamish Stewart of Gerringong Products debuted in round 1 here against Canterbury and turns 21 next week. Hamish Stewart plays it there for Cook. 30 out from that southern end. Back to the try scorer, Emre Gula. Claimed there by McInnes, former Dragons captain. And now Cook, a flat ball from dummy half to DeBellin. Now King Tongia onto Leilua. And he's stopped there suddenly by Britton Nickro's opposite number. Cook swings it back open side right. DeBellin onto Flanagan. Off to Moses Sully. And he even angled his run, but Talakai got him in there as well in that collision. And he's stopped there by Trent, 12 out from that southern end. Dragons with Cook dummy half off to Flanagan. Now centre field for Emre Gula, straightening his run towards Brayley and also McInnes, who played on that 10-metre line. Cook to the left-hand side now, Flanagan, and now King Tonga puts in a kick for the corner. Towed forward here by Buchanan, but Trendle is there first in defence. The in goal, in fact, it's still alive, isn't it? As he gets back in the field of play. And the Sharks will start a new set from deep in that southeastern corner of Cogra Jubilee. It's the Sharks 12, Dragons 6 the scoreline, 19 gone, 21 left in the first half.
That was an amazing defusal there by Trendle to come across and sort of troubleshoot the problem out of position. He dives on a loose ball on the ground. It was very hard to pick it up, but slides back into the field of play, puts his body in the line. Huge from the number 6.
Here they go at the right-hand side. Brayley back on the inside now. Nicola put down by Cook and also DeBellin. 35 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Hines, his kick bounced off the back of a Dragons player, and it's going to be still live here for the Sharks. It comes to Ramian. It wasn't played at, so it's still going to be the last play. He runs the footy awkwardly into Jack DeBellin, and they'll get the ball back here. St.George Illawarra, 40 out from that southern end, 20 in from the eastern side.
It's all right, mate. Give him the ball. Give him the ball. He's got to put his hand up.
Give him the ball.
Let's go.
He says to Blake Brayley as DeBellin plays it now. Cook off to Flanagan. And now Hame Saleh as well is enveloped by 3 Sharks defenders who'll play it there in front of McInnes. And now Cook off to the right-hand side for Blake Laurie, the only member of that round 5 2020 team that last beat the Sharks. That was 10 games ago. So 10 and zip in their past a lot of appearances. Here's Moses Sully, gain of 15 metres now. He's 12 out from that southern line. Played to Cook, open side left now. Flanagan, back now to DeBellin. Low ball King Tongia, and he's tackled by Hines and also Nicola. 20 in from the eastern side, 10 out from that southern line. DeBellin, plenty of space here for the big man. Low in the tackle is Brayley up top, Brad and Hemmenwelle. Someone's hit the deck in back play, and it was Blake Laurie's been spelled. Yeah, so that's going to be a penalty for the Dragons. Their second of the game. Didn't quite see what happened. It was a fair way off the ball.
I think it was Teague Wilton who comes rushing in to put a shot on him. Yeah, it is Teague Wilton. He's hit him on suspicion right in the ribs. That wouldn't have tickled at all.
Okay, so, yeah, second penalty here for the Dragons. 19 and a half left in this first half. Sharks 12, Dragons 6. They roll on quickly here. We'll get the counter on the touchline very shortly as the Dragons here through Hame Saleh play it 5 out in front of the post. Come back to Flanagan. Inside ball to Bellin, and he's spinning there on Aden Fanua-Blake. 5 metres short of that southern line now, directly in front. Cook directs traffic right-hand side. King Tongia, Flanagan. Now Sully tips on here. Tyrell Sloan with sheer pace can go in and score in that southwestern corner of the ground. And the Dragons hit back. 12-10, kick to come, St.George Illawarra. 19 left in the first half on ABC. Sport Dean Hallertau.
Yeah, well, they've shown when they do get down to attack the Sharks line, they've got some potency with the ball in hand, the Dragons. They've shifted it both ways and come up with some joy. On this occasion, it's to their right, and they've got a full shift on. They've got plenty of numbers, I think six or seven in that play. But the key pass was the last one from Moses Sully. He gets it sweeping around the back under pressure from Mulatalo, wedging in. Comes up with the quick hands to Tyrell Sloan, who just strolls over for the second try of the afternoon for the Dragons.
6 tries in, I'll make it 7 tries in 5 games now for Tyrell Sloan. Counter back to you on the touchline.
Yeah, great try there. Really good quick hands, as Dean mentioned, but it comes off the back of the Sharks not, getting to a kick on their last attacking set. So an error there after Jesse Ramian dropped the ball, and then a penalty, right on the try line, basically. early. So great position for the Dragons to get their second try.
Conversion here for Flanagan will be 22 metres out and 8 metres in from the western side. Cody asks, jargon off the front foot means what? Playing off the front foot. Who said that? Was it you? Yeah. Who was playing off the front foot?
I can't remember.
Oh, it means just, I guess, being positive in attack, I suppose. Yeah. Off the front foot.
Aggressive play.
You could use that term in cricket or any kind of sport, I imagine. Thank you, Cody. Gaz Liverpool says, one of the Dragons fans ever happy, LOL. He had the penalty try earlier to Teague Wilton. But they've hit back here through Tyrell Sloan. Here's Flanagan, 1 from 1 so far this afternoon on that tough angle right-hand side of the park. As mentioned, 5 from 5 last week in tough conditions in the gong. This kick starts not far right enough. It's away across the face and waved away, and it remains Cronulla Sutherland 12, St.George Illawarra 10 here at a sunny Cogra Jubilee. 17 and a half left in the game. Joe from the gong says, I love your show, guys. Can't wait until Bennett gets the spoon. Oh, that's not nice, Joe.
Nice.
I feel for it. I mean, the injuries they've had, they've dealt with South Sydney this year has been pretty exceptional. I mentioned Gaz's text. Paul from Bulleye, thank you for your text. Noted. 0467920222. 17 and a half left in the game. Sorry, not in the game, in the half. I'm calling the whole game here. I just want to make sure everyone's clear on that, not just the first half. Here is Blake Brayley. Kicks deep towards that northern in goal area. Flanagan off here to Blake Laurie. Charging back into Wilton and also McInnes, who'll play it out from his own line here. Moses Sully busy early in the game here for the Saints. Stopped Fippin out from that northern line. Play the Cook. They peel it left-hand side. De Bellin busy as well. King Tonga off to Leilua. But he's brought down low there by Hines, and also Ramey in there makes the tackle above the waist. Cook off here to De Bellin, and now here's Hamish Stewart once more. Jeremy Lyons Jr. 40 out from his own line. Cook explodes from dummy half here. Gains a quick 10 metres before he is stopped just inside Cronulla Sutherland territory. Guttison a dummy half here to the left-hand side for Flanagan. Awkward kick, wobbles high in the air. Sets a task out in the wing for Katoa. He's got some room to move, though, as he is now eventually slung to ground by Lycan King-Tongia. And De Bellin comes across to reinforce the tackle as well. Trindle across now to Molotalo. 2 tries against the Cowboys last week at Shark Park, and herein lies the Sharks' first penalty of the game as someone came sliding in. So it's 2-1 the penalty count, and the scoreline is 12-10 in Cronulla Sutherland's favour. On report, by the way, as well. So I just want to see, get a better look at this.
It's coming in low. It's like a cannonball tackle.
Yeah,
back in the legs.
And I can't see in that TV shot because it was sort of
De Bellin
out of shot. Jack De Bellin on report for the cannonball. There you go. So Sharks 12, Dragons 10. 16 left in the first half. Down to counter on the touchline.
Yeah, just an update on Michael Clemmer. He has cleared his HIA, so he's good to go.
All right, so David Clemmer has passed the HIA. Here they go, short of the halfway now. It's Teddy Rudolph. Speaking of HIAs, he's back from concussion. Didn't play last week. And now an early set restart in this set as well for the Sharks. Hines, dummy half, off to the right-hand side, Aden Fanua Blake. Tackle 35 out from that northern line, 20 in from the eastern side. 12-10 here is the score line. And now we'll come back. It
play the ball.
Yeah, so it was a roll ball there from the Sharks, which there has been a crackdown on in recent weeks. It remains, as I said, 12-10 the Sharks' favour, 15 and a half left in this first half. Dragons back on the attack. Round the grounds NRLW. Knights and Tigers are now 6 points all in the first half. Emily Bass responds to the Tigers with a try. Second half, Jersey Flag. Tigers 34, Kabaddi Silktails 22. New South Wales Cup second half, Manly 30, Newcastle 12. There's a lot of scores to get through, but the one that matters here in Cogra is Sharks 12, Dragons 10. On halfway they go here, St.George Illawarra. De Bellin off to Laurie. Takes on Teague Wilton. Tackled there. 5 inside Sharks territory. It's going to be a set restart here for the Dragons as well, for a bit of slow work in defence, getting off tackled players. McInnes makes the tackle there on De Bellin. Cook swings it across here to Clemmer, who passed the HIA. Angles his run here, 30 out from that southern line, 20 in from the western side. Cook back to Laurie, and now King Tongia. Leilua is collared there by Hines and also Nickera. He'll play it 20 out now for St. George Illawarra. They trail 12 points to 10 here at home. Fed back to the right-hand side. Now an inside ball from Flanagan back to Sully. Played down to Cook, because it's going to be now, again, that it was St. George Illawarra penalty, and Teague Wilton again interfering there in the ruck. So penalty count 3-1. Will they take the 2 to level things up? I fancy they will.
Yeah, it was Teague Wilton again, and I think the indication from the referee that he was coming back through the ruck, it was a bit loose, the attempt to play the ball there from Zasuli, maybe a bit hard done by there. Teague Wilton, nonetheless. It's in the hands of Kyle Flanagan now to go for the 2 points, but really enjoying the way the Dragons are just rolling this. They're playing tough footy. They look quite fit this year. That's one thing that is fairly evident, and no doubt that's a big influence of Clint Gutherson. He's known as probably one of the fittest players in the competition. They're a really hard worker, and it looks as though he's rubbed off on the entire team.
13:40 left in this first half at Cogra. So we rocked up here today. It was very rainy. Crowd kept coming though as the NRLW was going on, but it's very sunny here now. Wet underfoot, of course, but nice conditions for Saturday afternoon footy here on ABC Sport. Flanagan, slight angle right-hand side and 16 metres out. To level things up at 12 points all with this penalty goal. On the approach, in he comes, and it sweetens back really nicely. Indeed, scores are level. Saints 12, Sharks 12 here on ABC Sport. 13 left in the first half. Just as we were going through the New South Wales Cup scores, full-time, Manly 30, Newcastle 12. First half, Newtown and the Penrith Panthers are 6 points all. In Queensland Women's Comp there, Sunshine Coast Falcons 34, beaten Central Queensland Capras 10. Winner Manly Seagulls 6, Western Clydesdales 0. First half, Northern Pride and North Devils 6 all. Queensland Cup first half, Burleigh Bears 6, Redcliffe 6. AFL fourth quarter, Richmond leads St Kilda, the other Saints, by 2 points there. Of course, we'll preview the Dolphins and the Sydney Roosters coming up next at Lang Park, and Canterbury and the Warriors to bring us home. So some massive games here on this Saturday in round 23, the first week of Indigenous round. Dragons here. 15 out from their own line. Laurie is tackled, plays it now for Cook, swings it across open side left to Bellin, onto King Tonga. Now Gutherson releases Buchanan. The debutant in the centres, tackled 20 out, and in from the eastern side. Gutherson comes back here again to Corey Allen. Made a big error earlier in this first half, which resulted in that first try to Braden Hamlin-Welle. And they rumble upfield here, the St George Illawarra Dragons with the Bellin. Stanton McKinnis tackle, now played here to Cook. A no-look pass, a no-look from Cook, off to Clint Gutherson, and he'll play it 40 out from his own line. Last play now, the running kick from Flanagan is punted downfield. It's up there quite high for Will Kennedy, but the fullback tracks it back now and has about 15 metres to gain before he's met there with a swarm of St George Illawarra defenders. In there first was Stewart, de Bellin, and also Laurie. 25 out from their own line here. Sharks on the attack. 11 and a half left in this first half on ABC Sport. You're with Brett Sprigg, Dean Hallertau. Can I take a rungy here for the first of our 3 games? Trindle off to Hazelton, his first run coming off the bench. And of course, he came back into the side last week from that injured collarbone for the first time since round 10. The left-hand side of the park, they shifted here, the Sharks, and tackled near the halfway is Teague Wilton. Played there for Brayley, off to McInnes, releases Rudolph, and again up Main Street he goes before he's met by Laurie and also Leilua. Just short of the halfway line here. Last play Sharks. Trindle receives it, now just kicks it high in the air. Gutherson comes in. He heard the footsteps there of the man coming in Ramian, but wasn't bothered, and Gutherson will take it 20 out from his own line. Play it there as Flanagan swings it across now for Sloan. Sloan plays it quickly. Gutherson's involved again. Runs straight into the marker there as Hazelton comes in with McInnes and also Wilton. This is 35 out from their own line here, the Dragons. It's 12 points all here at Cogra Jubilee. These sunny conditions, despite the earlier rain. 10 left before the break here on ABC Sport. Here's de Bellin, and he can't make the break here. Takes on Hazelton. Now plays it. Cook off to the left-hand side. King Tonga with a right foot kick high in the air. Kennedy towards the eastern touchline. He's got plenty of open space here if he can be too quick for Flanagan. And surprisingly, it was actually Laurie who came across to stop him. He's not renowned for his pace. 20 out from his own line. Southern end here. Sharks on the attack. And again, it's been a quick start to the set here for Cronulla Sutherland. Molitalo takes on Flanagan. Also, Sewley played every game this year, which is the most of any of his years as a Sewley at previously West Tigers and, of course, Manly Warringah. And now it's been lost by Talakai, but it's going to be a penalty here. It's raked by Damien Cook. Penalty for the Sharks. Penalty count 2 all. 9.5 left in this first half. 12 all's the scoreline. Danny Carr on the touchline.
Yeah, Cookie's not too happy about that. You can see him blowing up. He doesn't agree with it. They could have challenged him, but they didn't. So good opportunity here for the Sharks.
I always love that from the ref. And the ref says, mate, you can challenge if you want.
Yeah,
That's when you find out if the captain really believed in what they were saying, or whoever the offender was. Here go the Sharks again. They tap 30 out from this western side right in front of us. Hazelton, loving the plays here in this part of the ground. Brayley, open side right. Hines off to Rudolph, and he straightens his run here towards Cook. And also in there was Leilua, makes the tackle. 20 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Quick kick now from Kennedy. It bounces though a little too much over the dead ball line, despite the chip and chase from Will Kennedy. And they'll determine here whether it did come off Dragons or Sharks last. Let's have a listen. There's no
Looking to see if there's any interference, and obviously in aspects of a penalty try and professional foul.
Well, we've had one penalty try so far today. This didn't look like much to the naked eye. Let's have a listen to Chris Butler in the bunker.
All players are onside. Will Kennedy is chasing his own kick.
Can't see on my very blurry screen what's is he?
Just looking at all angles.
With a Leilua.
Luch is running towards the ball or looking to take out Will.
I must admit,
Look, the ball is a long way away from him. Leilua does, I think.
He sort of slows and steps to his left.
Yeah, do you think Kennedy's getting to that ball?
He got pretty close in the end, even with the
Just let them do their job.
yeah, that's he's sort of shoulder to Will
Has 2
Kennedy.
looks previous to this. Says that he's punting the man. However, ruling out a professional foul or penalty try because the ball's too close to their ball line, and now he would have never got there.
Yeah, he was about a metre or so as it went over. So
It'll be a penalty.
no penalty try here for the Sharks. Alas, it remains 12 points all the scoreline here at Colgrove with 8:40 left in this first half. Counter back to you on the touchline.
Yeah, pretty gutsy play there by Will, kicking on the second tackle, but it's paid off for them. They're in a good position to attack again.
Just catching up on this, Flanagan was 2 for 3 with that penalty, wasn't he? So 12 all's the scoreline here. There'll be a penalty here for the Sharks, 10 metres out from that northern line here at Cogra. AFL fourth quarter, secured a lead Richmond now by 55 to 51. And they're just going to set up here for... They're not taking the 2, are they? Yeah, there comes the T. There they are. So there you go. So they'll take the 2 here, the Sharks. Nicho Hines directly in front to make it 14-12 their advantage as we approach half-time.
Yeah, Ash Klein and Damien Cook are really getting to know each other this game. A lot of conversations between them and some questions being asked by the number 9 for the Dragons, but Nicho Hines here should throw this one over and get it back to a 2-point lead.
Am I correct in saying the Dragons have scored all their points from penalties, asked Tony from Parks? Was the Gula, was that off the back of the first penalty of the game?
Might have been.
Yeah, maybe. Here's Hines directly in front. He's now 3 from 3. So that is a 14-12 score on the way of the Sharks here with 7:45 left in this first half. Around the grounds, in fact, your text quickly 0467920222. Brewster Mars also hopes the Rabbitohs get the wooden spoon. No love for the Rabbitohs, is there? Especially from Roosters fans. Stuart, thank you for your text. Jason and Charlene from Stanthorpe, Queensland, sitting on the bench at the beach at Cozy Corner on the east coast of Tasmania. Thank you for the great call. We'll go to the Dragons in the local derby. Great game so far, Shop, I must admit. 14-12, the Sharks lead here. But still anyone's from here, of course. Hazelton hits it up on resumption, and he's dragged back there by Stewart and also in there Laurie. And now the sun going behind a few clouds. It's got a bit darker here in this Saturday afternoon fixture. Talakai tackled, plays it now. Brayley across now. Trindle keeps moving right-hand side of the park, and put down there is Rudolph. Played it back to Brayley. And now again here for the Sharks goes for Peru. Two-time Indigenous All-Star. It's his 5th career game. He was a late in. Daniel Atkinson now 18th man for them tonight. So today, Kennedy meanwhile plays it on the halfway. Brayley swings it across right-hand side. Nico Hines, high kick down towards Gutherson, feeds it back to Corey Allen, and Allen is met by a wall of Sharks defence there. 13 out from that northern line, 20 in from the eastern side. It remains Sharks 14, Dragons 12, 6:15 left in this first half on ABC Sport. Tackled there is Buchanan, one of their 2 debutants today for the Dragons. And now Leilua, in his 2nd year back at Saints. Played 25 out now. Swung back across here to Cook, and now Flanagan, right-hand side. There is Sully, but he was taken down low there by Sifa Talakai. He was slow letting go of his leg there, so I think the Dragons fans wanted a penalty. They won't get one. It's last play here as Stewart rolls it back there to Jacob Little at dummy half, and now King Tongia can punt it downfield. It's very high across field, allowed to bounce there in front of Katoa, and in fact Ramian gets there on the bounce. So Katoa let it go for him. Katoa receives a pass now from Hines, and he's put down 28 metres out from his own line. Southern end. 5:20 left in this first half on ABC Sport. Sharks 14, Dragons 12 here in the derby. It's an intriguing game so far. In mostly dry conditions, Molitalo takes on Stewart with a big fend, and he'll play the footy right there on top of Stewart's head. Off to Brayley, on to Peru, and now Hines darts up the right-hand side, slung to ground there though by Jacob Little, and he'll play it 42 out from that northern line. Last play, the kick from Trindle, high in the air it goes. Gutherson parks himself under it. Clean catch, has to compete with Kennedy. Flick pass away here towards Tyrell Sloan before he gets off the races. He's run down by Teague Wilton, and he'll play it 20 out from his own line. Now Sully ends open space here up that right edge, makes light work of Peru, bounced off Trindle, stopped there by Hazelton. 35 out, 20 in, Western touch. Dragons on the attack, they trail 14-12, and now next man tackled 9 metres short of the halfway is Clemmer. 6 more for the ruck infringement. It's come to Damien Cook, and he's piled back there by Rudolph and also Nickera, and he'll play it 40 out from his own line. Laurie storming into those 2 players, Hines and Wilton. Dummy half Little, back to Cook. Now Flanagan, off to Stewart. Good step here on the inside of Trindle, and he's eventually cut down 40 short of that southern line. Little, flat ball here, finds Cook. Now King Tonga with a half break, got past Hines, steps on the infield, back to Kennedy. Offloads to Clint Gutherson, who can stroll in the rest of the way. In fact, he gets the footy wide to Buchanan, and Buchanan can finish off in that far corner. That's a nice moment. The debutant, one of their 2 today, scores his first 4-pointer in first grade, and most importantly, it puts the Dragons in front. 16-14, kick to come, 3.5 left in the first half.
Yeah, I don't know if that's one that's in the coach's playbook when you dish up a try to a debutant, which is what Clint Gutherson did there. He was going to roll over himself, but sees Buchanan out to his left and tosses in the ball. But it was a great play again from the Dragons, and one thing I've noticed with the Sharks at the moment, they're a little bit loose in defence. They've got players rushing out trying to put a shot on and come up with a big play defensively, but what they're doing is they're pulling apart their own defensive line. So on ensuing plays, there's a bit of space opening up. King Tonga recognises that. He just comes off the outside foot, steps through some loose defenders. Once he's in the backfield, finds his skipper and fullback in Gutherson, who, as we said, tips it on to the debutant.
On the touchline, Kiana.
Yeah, I think it was Nico Hines who just got caught there with a little show and go from King Tongia, but unreal to see Buchanan get over and get his first 4-pointer in the NRL.
Nice link up there, King Tongia and King Gutho in one play there, and Buchanan on debut scoring his first try there after 37 minutes. So here's Flanagan who will be taking his kick from 25 metres out here and 3 metres in from the eastern side. It's probably the toughest part of the ground for us to see from this. We're in the northwestern corner on the 30-metre line. But thankfully, dry conditions for players and commentators. That's far less important. Here's Flanagan. This is big though, because they'll lead 18-14 potentially at the halftime break. Albeit still 2 minutes and change to go. In front of a packed hill. Flanagan. Right foot goal kick. In he comes. The breeze is forcing it back, but it just carries not accurately enough. It's waved away. So Flanagan is 3 from 4. In fact, sorry, 2 from 4 so far this afternoon. St.George Illawarra 16, Cronulla Sutherland 14. 2:20 left in this first half. Go Dragons today from Heather. That's Heather from Kenthurst who texts in a lot. Thank you, Heather. I've read... here we go. Damon in Ballarat says, considering the vast difference in pay levels, can someone explain why the women can play the ball right 999 times out of 1,000 while the men struggle for 8 out of 10, says Damon in Ballarat. Any reasoning there, you reckon, Kiana?
I think we've always been taught to do it properly. I reckon the boys got away with doing it wrong for a lot of the start of the season.
Yeah, fair observation, Damon. Thank you, Kiana. Here's Laurie. Play it 10 out now for the Dragons. Open side left they come. To Moses Sully, who's dragged down 20 out from his own line. Minute 58 left. Sully is slow getting up, and he was clobbered there.
He winced for a lower leg injury, I think. Susan Talakai was down low and came out of the tackle first, but Sully, as he was going to ground, you can see a grimace on his face. I'm not sure if his leg got stuck. Haven't seen a replay yet to see if potentially a hip drop in there, which is often a result when you see these types of injuries, but you're watching the replay now.
Yeah, Talakai is who sort of takes his left leg.
Looks like he gets stuck more than anything. It's not. He goes low, Talakai.
I thought maybe initially the contact of Peru or Brayley front on, but Klein's just saying something. The referee actually Klein's saying something to the players, so we'll be across that.
I mean, they're definitely looking at it in the bunker. There's a player injured and it's a lower leg injury.
Siffers has got to see if his opponent's okay, which is always good, some good bloke points. But see what Klein has to say.
No, I get that. That's
getting his right leg worked on is Moses Sully. How did you see it, Counter, from down there?
I couldn't see, to be honest. Yeah, sorry guys, can't offer anything there.
You know what? Yeah, I'm trying to think. There are some great vantage points, but Sully's getting up now, which is at least pleasing.
I don't think there's going to be. It doesn't look as if there's going to be a penalty coming. So again, just awkwardness of the tackle and a man down low. He runs so hard into contact, Moses Sully, that it's an abrupt stop when you do get him in some positions.
Yeah. So 16-14 it remains here, the Dragons' favour. He'll just have his right knee strapped up a bit more here, Moses Sully, before they can resume play in these dying stages of the first half. Here at Cobra Jubilee, Clemmer. He is forced back by a maul of defenders, and he'll play at 20 out and get in from the eastern side. Dummy half Little. Back across here to Leilua. Tackled by Peru, Rudolph, and also Brayley. 30 outs in the field. Little leaves it there for Laurie. Runs headlong into Wilton and also Hazelton. Play at 40 out now for the Dragons. Little fires it across now for King Tongia. Last play kick. High in the air now for Will Kennedy. And the Sharks fullback goes storming back into Clemmer, Cook, and also Little. Play it 40 out, 20 in from the eastern side now. Here's Katoa on a jinking run, but Stewart's all over him, and so too Blake Laurie. Play it here, 9 short of halfway. Minute 10 left in the first half on ABC Sport. Left-hand side, Talakai. Stopped there by Moses Sully. So that was the same two players involved at the previous end. The Dragons are in the attack as Bradley swings it all the way across now for Trindle. Now Hazelton almost lost his footing. Still has the footy here in a 3-man tackle. 40 outs in the field now for the Sharks. 50 seconds left for the break. As the clouds are a bit heavier here at Cobra. Peru to the right-hand side. Rudolph put on his back there in the tackle of Little and also Cook. 30 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Trindle, last play kick. Wobbles through the air now. Sloan takes it to the in-goal area. Is forced to... He gets up to his feet here. The tackle wasn't made there by Wilton. And so Sloan is deep in that northwestern corner of the ground. He'll start a new set there for the Dragons with 25 seconds left on the clock before half-time. As here's Leilua involved again. And he's wrapped up by Brayley and also Peru. Sully is still limping in back play as well, Dean and Kiana. So we'll get an update on him very shortly as well as the players come off for half-time. 8 seconds left. Dragons at dummy half. Little to Cook. And now no real advantage there for him as he's taken down by Rudolph. And that will be half-time. An enthralling, seesawing first half here in the derby. And St.George Illawarra 16 leads Cronulla Sutherland 14. Tries to Emre Gua after 4 minutes. His first try since he was a Canberra Raider 2.5, nearly 3 full years ago. Braden Hamlin-Welle responded there for the Sharks. Teague Wilton with a penalty try in his 100th game in the 15th minute. And then the Dragons did hit back. Tyrell Stone the 20th. And then Hayden Buchanan, the debutant, one of their 2 debutants today, scoring in the 36th minute. Kyle Flanagan is 2 from 4. He's 1 conversion, 1 penalty. And Nico Hines, 2 conversions, 1 penalty, is 3 from 3. Alas, the home side leads here at Cogra Jubilee, 16-14 on ABC Sport being Hallertau.
Yeah, it was a seesawing battle. Spriggy, both teams definitely turned up with a good attitude and that local derby kind of feel about it. It was pretty consistent footy. I don't think it was it got to great heights in terms of the intensity, but there was some good footy played, in particular by the Dragons. Once again, they've completed really highly, 95% in that first half, which is humongous. They were great last week down at Wollongong.
Oh, hang on, here we go. Here we go. Luke Lewis has let out the Cronulla Sutherland Old Boys. Who are we looking at here? There's Andrew Feeders out there.
Manu Brown's out there, Ben Ross.
Yeah. Manu Brown just was playing like a few weeks ago, it seems.
No, he retired at the end of last year. But he is running marathons now. So
I want a 5 or 6 year break minimum. So is Louis going to kick off here? He's got the socks pulled up, bright yellow boots, our man Luke Lewis.
Over on the Dragon side, you've got Jason Nightingale, Kyle and Chase Stanley. I think there's Ben Hunt. Sorry, not Ben Hunt, Dan Hunt in there. That was Hunt.
This is fantastic.
Jared Safi.
We might see a few plays before we get to the news. Kiana, what did you make of the opening half here at Cogra?
Yeah, it was a good first half, boys. It was a dry one. We've got some wet weather coming, though, that's for sure. It is black as anything, so it's going to be a little bit of a different second half, I'd say.
And that'll make points even more important, as of course the Dragons lead by just those 2 at the half-time break. Thank you, Dion, for your text. Gaz says radio calls are so important for those who have slightly goodies, especially good ones like you guys. Thank you, Gaz, for your text. Jim from Gloucester enjoying the call, but there's only one king in our game, and it's not Cuthberts, says Jim. Good on you, Jim. Great call, guys. Sitting in the Park Royal, Marina Bay, Singapore, waiting for our taxi to the airport, listening to the game. It's game day rivalry for hubby and I. He goes for the Dragons. I go for the Sharkies. One of us will have a long flight home, depending on the result. Up the Sharkies. Kath and Drew, Norley from Wollongong. Well, yeah, they're chasing their first derby win in over 5 years. Not since round 5 in 2020 have the Dragons beaten the Sharks. They lead at the half-time break, though, 16-14. Jack DeBellin on report in that first half for a cannonball and the penalty count in that first half I had it top of my head. No, it just hasn't been one for a while, so I've left that behind. The penalty count ended up in that first half being 3-all. There you go, and 2 set restarts for ruck infringements as well. Look, I'd love to call this game in full, but the ABC News is upon us, and nothing waits for the ABC News. Well, the ABC News waits for no one. Alas, I'll update you on how Luke Lewis goes here. We'll also preview Dolphins Roosters coming up next at Lang Park. Here it's the Dragons 16, Sharks 14. Right now, time for ABC News.
ABC News with Sarah Amir. Israel has strongly rejected criticism from world leaders after its security cabinet approved a plan to launch an occupation of Gaza City. Ali Crew has more.
The foreign ministers of Australia, the UK, Germany, Italy and New Zealand have issued a joint statement warning that Israel's plans risk violating international law. They're among a growing number of world leaders speaking out in opposition to the decision. The European Union is urging Israel to reconsider. Germany has halted all arms exports to Israel that could be used in Gaza, while France and Canada have also condemned the plan. UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk says the major escalation will result in more massive forced displacement, killing, unbearable suffering, senseless destruction and atrocity crimes.
The Kremlin has confirmed Russian President Vladimir Putin will meet with US President Donald Trump in Alaska next Friday. Moscow has also hinted that the US leader could visit Russia in the near future, as pressure mounts on Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire deal in his war on Ukraine. Mr. Trump says his Russian counterpart wants peace, but has also signaled that Ukraine may have to cede territory. Russian presidential aide Yuri Ushakov says the leaders will discuss options for achieving a long-term peaceful resolution to what he called the Ukrainian crisis.
The American side has just announced that an agreement has been reached to organise a meeting between the presidents of Russia and the United States on Friday, August 15, in Alaska.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is in New Zealand for talks with his Kiwi counterpart Christopher Luxon. Regional security and global uncertainty are expected to be at the centre of the annual talks. Mr. Albanese says Australia and New Zealand have a very close relationship.
Our single economic market really is an example for the world in how free and fair trade and economic engagement benefits everyone who's a party to it.
Survivors and families of victims have been offering flowers and prayers at a memorial service in the Japanese city of Nagasaki to mark the anniversary of the US atomic bombing that killed more than 74,000 people. The BBC's Shaima Khalil reports.
80 years on, the average age of the survivors now is 86. There are fewer and fewer of them, but it's also difficult. It's becoming more difficult to speak to them about their memories. And so the ones that I've spoken to feel that it's now their mission to pass on these stories to future generations, but also pass on their stories to world leaders, because they feel that even though they've said it many, many times, it's well documented the devastation that has been caused by nuclear warfare. There are more nuclear weapons, more powerful ones that are existing in the world right now.
Haiti's government has named Vladimir Parison the country's new national police chief. The former National Palace security chief is the first appointment by the transitional president Laurent Sancier. Large parts of Haiti are controlled by criminal gangs responsible for mass killings, kidnappings and extortion. This resident in the capital Port-au-Prince says government must do more to end violence in the country.
All night long, we hear gunshots. We have received no support. We are struggling in poverty because of our leaders. Today, president after president, minister after minister, mayor after mayor, we are still in the same situation. Displaced people are living in tents, and when it rains, no one comes to help them.
Back home, a 9-year-old boy has walked away from a shark attack on the New South Wales far south coast with only a scratch and a broken board. Bowie Daly was surfing at Tathra Beach when a shark grabbed his surfboard. Tathra's Surf Life-Saving President Andrew Johnson flew a drone over the water afterwards to try and spot the shark, but it could not be located. He says it's not common to see sharks at Tathra Beach.
There are more shark sightings down at Pambula and Marimbula and up at Narooma than there is at Tathra. So no, we're not renowned for having sharks, and there wasn't any reports in recent times, but obviously there is always sharks in the water.
And Emily Wurramara has taken our Artist of the Year at the 2025 National Indigenous Music Awards. Jessica Malboy and Troy Casadale led a star-studded lineup of performers, as the country's top First Nations musical acts were recognised by their peers on Larakia Country in Darwin. You're up to date with the latest from ABC News.
There are 3 warning levels across Australia: advice, watch and act, and emergency. To learn more, go to the ABC Emergency website and stay listening to your emergency broadcaster, ABC Radio. The summer of cricket has arrived early.
Lobs it straight down the ground for 6. He's on the pull shot. Boy, did he get that!
White ball cricket takes centre stage in the top end as Australia take on South Africa.
Down for leg for 4. Finger goes on.
It all starts on Sunday on the ABC.
Down the pitch, there we go. Bang!
Every ball live. Just click on the cricket button.
The 2025 NRL Premiership. It's Indigenous round.
This is last play Dragons. Cook with a kick here off the inside of the boot, and now it is there. And pouncing on the footy, Emre Gula scores behind the posts. A very deft kick on that last play from Damien Cook, and Emre Gula says thank you very much. St.George Illawarra in first. Centrefield scrum towards the line. Allen's coughed the footy up there, and that big tackle from Ramian. Bounce back here for Adam Fanua Blake. So the Sharks turn defence into attack once more. Very much so. Deep in that northeastern corner. Brayley off to Hines. On here, Hamlin. Well, a burst through. 1-2. Breaks a third tackle and scores next to the posts. So the Sharks do hit back. 5 metres short of that southern line now, directly in front. Cook directs traffic right-hand side. King Tonga, Flanagan. Now Sully tips on here. Tyrell Sloan with sheer pace can go in and score in that southwestern corner of the ground. And the Dragons hit back. 40 short of that southern line. Little flat ball here finds Cook. Now King Tonga with a half break. Got past Hines. Steps on the infield. Back to Kennedy. Offloads the clip. Gathers it and strolling the rest of the way. In fact, he gets the footy wide to Buchanan. And Buchanan can finish off in that far corner. That's a nice moment. The debutant on a bare 2 today scores his first 4-pointer in first grade, and most importantly, it puts the Dragons in front.
The 2025 NRL Premiership. It's Indigenous round.
Yeah, Dragons 16, Sharks 14 here at Cogra Jubilee. I'm not sure Luke Lewis is the Clive Churchill medalist of this old boys game, by the way. But they had good fun out there, the Dragons and Sharks old boys in the halftime event here. Massive games coming up. 8th versus 9th at Lang Park, of course. Later on, Canterbury and the Warriors 3v5 at Stadium Australia. Let's preview the game in Brisbane. Zane Bojack, good afternoon to you.
Hello, Spriggy, and welcome to an overcast Lang Park as we get set for a cracking game of footy at 5:30. I think the finals have come early up here in Queensland. We've got the 8th-ranked Dolphins taking on the 9th-ranked Roosters, both teams coming off wins in round 22. We saw the Dolphins get out of jail with a try to Jermaine Osako as they defeated the Warriors 20 points to 18 over in Auckland, while the Roosters, they couldn't have been more impressive as they defeated the Sea Eagles 20-4 at Brookie last Saturday night. And we don't have final teams just yet, probably about 25 minutes away. We'll send them down the line. But when the teams were named on Tuesday, the Roosters retained the same 17 with Victor Radley and also proud Camilla Ray man Connor Watson returning to the starting lineup with Ben Nuello and also Spencer Leniu going back to the bench. And the Dolphins, they've lost 2 of their key men. Skipper Felice Kafusi to a 2-week suspension and star centre Herbie Farnworth to a hamstring strain. He's likely to be out of football until the finals, meaning that Christian Wolf's men welcome back young winger Tavita Naufahu and also back rower Kulikefu Finifuaki. The Dolphins are on 26 points. They could put a foot in the finals with a victory today. And the Roosters are on 24, and they can get to 26 and combine the Dolphins score, but they do sit a long way back in differential. Billy Moore, Queensland Origin legend. Geez, the Roosters were good last week, and particularly James Tedesco and also Sam Walker. But how do the Dolphins fight back? I know they continue to win. They like the Dark Knight in the Monty Python movies. You know, they keep going, but they have struggled with their injuries in the past, and now, of course, losing their skipper in Felice Kafusi and also Herbie Farnworth. How do you expect today to go?
G'day, Zano, and to all our wonderful listeners. Welcome. This is going to be a cracking game. As you said, it's 8v9. There's so much riding on this event. You're right, the Dolphins lose some more men, and it's been a situation through a lot of the season that's happened to them, like other clubs. How do they overcome the loss of Herbie Farnworth? And you hear me talk about, I think he's the best centre in the world. Kafusi, the heart and soul of the club. Well, they do it because the next man up is working. Figai comes into the centres last week, ran for 200 metres, fantastic. Everillo is killing it. Centre, winger. Francis Molo, what a buy he's been to this club. And I know you liked them, the two back rowers, Keeley and Donahue. They have risen. So what's happened? Christian Wolf is bringing out the best of this squad. They're squeezing them in tighter and tighter because they're losing men, but they keep on working. And around that means if they can keep going forward, you got Jerry Marshall-King, you got Katoa, you got Nicarima, and you got the hammer. What a spine. You've just got to give those guys a chance. Up against the Roosters team, as you said last week, were magnificent. A ripping contest, Zeno.
They've got a proud history, these two sides. They actually played against each other in the Dolphins' inaugural match in round 1 of 2023, which the Dolphins won on that occasion, 28 points to 18. Since then, it's been all the Roosters, including in Magic Round this year, where they won 36-26. But I just love the fact that the Arthur Beetson Legacy Medal is being competed for in Indigenous round, and you've got the likes of Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, Josh Kerr up against Connor Watson in a round which pays homage to their heritage.
Yeah, and what a man to actually have his name struck on the medal. Arthur Beetson, immortal, one of the great players from Roma in Queensland. What a game it's going to be, Zeno. Can't wait.
We've got Billy Moore, we've got an ABC Sport debutant in John Manning, and myself back at 5:30, Spriggy. It's going to be a ripper. The referee's Jared Sutton. The bunker will be Grant Atkins. We'll see you later.
Can't wait, Zeno. Thank you, Billy. And we'll hand you back after this game to Andrew Moore and the team at Stadium Australia for half an hour. Then they'll go straight to Zane Bojack and the team at Lang Park for that massive game, 8 versus 9. 0467 920 222. Cody asked, was the old Codgers game touch or tackle? No, it's just touch.
There's two-hand. There's a few little tackles in there, but it was like two-hand touch.
Yeah.
I just seen Moses Hooley on crutches, so...
Yeah, that's going to be big counter-attacker running. We'll get to her very shortly because Moses Sully he's got the ice, I think, on that right knee. He'll take no further part in the game. So, Kiana, just down to you quickly.
Yeah, sorry guys, I have no update yet. I'm just gonna find out and I'll get back to you.
We'll let you get across there and have a look. But yeah, he's got the jacket on now, and that was he received some it was Talakai, wasn't it, in that tackle that trickled afterwards. So that's what's happened there, and it remains 16-14, the halftime score. Malin Northdale. No, the Dragons certainly deserve plenty of credit. I'm not saying, alas, they lead because that's the bad thing. No, they've had a great game so far, the Dragons. As we welcome those just joining us through the ACT from the AFL, where earlier in that game it would have been Richmond by 4 points. This is coverage, you believe, for the first of our 3 NRL games in round 23, the first week of Indigenous round. You're with Brett Sprigg, Dean Hallertau, Gunnar Takarangi, from a Rooster, Night Shark, Cook Islands and Kiwi Ferns International. Second half just underway here. If you have just joined us here, Little swings it across now for the Dragons on the attack. 16-14 is their lead. 40 seconds into this second half. Little finds Flanagan. Last play kick here for St.George Illawarra. High towards Will Kennedy, the Sharks fullback. And he's got plenty of open space there, choosing the left-hand side of the ground. Stewart and also Cook. You hear the ref there, Ash Klein, saying he slipped into the oncoming traffic. Dummy half Trindle swings it across now again here to Molotalo. But it was a seesawing first half. The Dragons certainly deserving their first half lead, just making sure it's well known, just in case there's any confusion there from some of our correspondents. But a derby here, and the Dragons chasing their first win in 5.5 years against their local opponent. Here's Ramian for the Sharks, a good burst up to the halfway line. Stop 20 in from the western side. Massive games coming up. Dolphins v the Roosters at Lang Park next, and then Canterbury breaks down and New Zealand Warriors in these games that will shape the top 4 and top 8. And now the offload has come out here for the Sharks. Ash Klein saying it was knocked on firstly by the Sharks. The Dragons force the error at Dean Hallertau, and they'll get possession here, Saints with a 16-14 lead, just inside their own half of Jubilee Stadium.
Yeah, it was Toby Rudolph trying to come up with an offload and gets knocked out at the same time by David Clemmer, and unfortunately for Rudolph, it's an early mistake, which is what the Sharks could ill afford. They had a low completion rate the first half. The Dragons were supreme in that area, so I'm sure that would have been a message from Fitzgibbon, is to control the ball and build build their game. That's not a good start.
Around the grounds, NRLW second half, Knights 10, West Tigers 6. We'll keep you across all of that. There's a few things happening around the place, particularly in rugby league and lower grades around the place. Here's Gutherson, dummies, and brought down there by Hines. 40 out, 10 in from the western side. Talking about Queensland Cup and New South Wales Cup and all that sort of stuff as far as lower grades. Here's Leilua, and he's driven back there by Nikora. No option here for the back row. Plays it there for King Tonga. And then Blake Laurie storming through centre field. Stop 25 out from that northern line. Little swings it across now here to Flanagan, to King Tonga. And now Gutherson, the right-hand side. Sloane's got plenty of space, but the oncoming traffic there, just imagine, manages to get the ball away from Sloane. I don't know if he dropped it or if it was...
There's a penalty going back for another player taken off the ball. So we had this in the first half. I think it was Teague Wilton first half.
Yeah.
We've had another one here, penalty. I can't see who the player was that was taken out, but you can see someone on the ground once the ball had gone out to the right.
I mean, Cello, who's just getting up to his feet now, but it wasn't all apparent to us in live play. Here's Hame Sele receives it here from the tap. Penalty count 4-3 to Dragons' way. Scoreline 16-14, 3.5 gone second half. Little off the King Tonga. Inside now, back to Clemmer. New signing, relatively new signing, already off contract for next year. Left-hand side, Flanagan. King Tong out, low ball. Buchanan, who scored in the first half on debut. He's slung the ground there by Ramian. 12 out from that northern line. Dummy half Allen for the Dragons. King Tongi Aaron now a straightening run from Hame Sele. He was born here in the Cogra suburb. Played for Kingsgrove Colts. Will play it here 8 metres short of that northern line. Little, it's a very flat ball, almost forward for Laurie. It's going to be 6 more here for inside the 10. Laurie plays it now. 5 out directly in front. Little off to the right-hand side. Flanagan, and now again Clemmer. Backs his way into Brayley and also Rudolph, and he'll play it there 7 metres short of that northern line, right-hand side of the uprights. Flanagan, low ball back to the Laurie. Not quite there. He's still 3.5 metres shy. Played to Little, who goes from dummy half, borrowing himself there. He's wrapped up down there by Peru, and he's up against the padding of the left-hand upright. He'll be playing it just inches shy of that Cronulla Sutherland line. Laurie dummy half across to King Tonga, and now Clemmer runs back here into Rudolph and also Brayley. It's last play here at a set of 6 inside the 10-metre line. Now the Dragons. Flanagan, it's been dropped by cuts onto his boot now. It's end over end and batted back over the dead ball line by Will Kennedy. So that will be our first line dropout. Repeat set of the day. Possession will be coming back here to the Dragons, who lead 16-14, 5.5 left in this second half on ABC Sport in Hallertau.
Yeah, well, one of the things we mentioned just after the break was about Moses Sully coming from the field to come into that knee injury, but luckily the Dragons have a origin-level replacement, Damien Cook, now in the right centre position.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Moses Sully played every game this year, and you can imagine that might not bode well for him playing next week against the Warriors at Mount Smart. That's their next game in Friday early slot. Here they go, short drop out. They're 15 out from that northern line. Here's Hame Sele. Play it there for Little, who's doing all that dummy half work, as you mentioned, with Cook now in the centres. Inside ball, King Tonga finds Clemmer, collected by Hazelton and also Peru. Play it 5 minutes out from that northern line, right-hand side of the post. Flanagan, off here, Leilua, big tackle from Ramian. Offload came back to King Tonga though. It shows a clean pair of heels, escapes Ramian, back here to Stewart, and he pushes out the pass here, back to Damien Cook, spins to a tackle. He's run aground there by Talakai and also Rudolph, and he'll play it there, Damien Cook, 7 metres short of that northern line. It's going to be another set restart, so more repeat ball here for the Dragons, looking to add to this 16-14 lead. Clemmer, 5 metres out now, left-hand side of the post. Little across here, open side right. King Tonga, inside ball, Laurie, taken down there by Hazelton. Now it's played 3. Dragons lead 16 points to 14 here over the Sharks. Back to Hamish Stewart. Tall back rower. Play it 5 out from that northern line. Little back across here to Hame Sele, and now King Tonga shows good pacings up Buchanan, back to Gutherson, who returns the favour and goes in to score the try. Well, in the first half, Gutherson set up Buchanan for a try, and this time the try assist came from the young man on debut, and it's the Dragons fullback and captain who scores deep in that northwestern corner to make it 20 points to 14. Kick to come Dragons.
Yeah, repeat sets, a few infringements from the Sharks gives the Dragons a lot of possession attacking the Sharks line, and when they move the ball out wide, they look really sharp, and it's nothing too flash. They run the general sweep plays that every team does. Man out the back. Hame Sele's sort of jumped in the middle as that link man that we seen Damien Cook playing earlier on when Little come back onto the park. But you mentioned Buchanan becomes a distributor on this occasion, gets the ball off the shift, pokes his head through with a low waist tackle, is able to dish the ball on the side there to Clint Gutherson. The skipper goes over in the corner.
Let's get the counter on the touchline.
Yeah, really nice try there by the Dragons. It comes on the back of the Sharks having to defend, I think it was 5 sets on their try line. So, yeah, good persistence by the Dragons there.
Thank you, Mal, again for your text, just clarifying your point there, saying that it was Louis who's the less than partial commentator. The games there, not me. Yeah, I have no real. I did call a game with Louis once in Magic Round where the Sharks got they were getting smashed by the Raiders. Louis didn't say a thing fly up. Now he's mostly pretty good. Some days it rattles him. Speaking of which, actually the rain has come down as well. The umbrella's gone up there from Kiana Takarangi and in front of us. Meanwhile, Cole Flanagan also not far away from us, who's 25 metres out here, a metre in from the western side. 8 minutes gone in this second half. The Dragons firming here. Well, Flanagan's 2 from 4 so far. Here he is, right foot kick, and it's missing near side. So he's now 2 from 5. And it remains just the 6-point buffer. St.George Illawarra 20, Cronulla Sutherland 14. Now, a lot of around the grounds here. Second half in the New South Wales Cup. In fact, sorry, I'll just go NRLW second half. Still Newcastle 10, West Tigers 6. Second half New South Wales Cup. Penrith leads Newtown 20 points to 10. Second half in the Women's Comp in Queensland. Wynnum Manly and Western Clydesdales are 6 points all, and Northern Pride 14 leads North Devils 12. Second half Queensland Cup. Burleigh 14 leads Redcliffe 12. First half Sunshine Coast Falcons 6 leads Central Queensland Capras 4. AFL, as you mentioned, it's a good beat Richmond by 4 points earlier. And at the Gabba is where Brisbane leads the Sydney Swans with the first goal of the game there. 1 straight 6 and the Swans yet to score. So there you go. As we get back underway here at Cogra, Leilua played 20 out from his own line. Fed back to the right-hand side now, and it's Laurie who's put down out there. I mentioned earlier, around 5-20-20 at Campbelltown of all places was the last time the Dragons beat the Sharks. Of course, that was Project Apollo. We were playing games during the COVID break at sort of random venues, and the Dragons' last win against the Sharks 10 appearances ago was then. As it comes back to the left-hand side, Leilua carries it back here in the tackle of Katoa, who'll play it 8 metres inside Sharks territory. Last play, Dragons. King Tongi is kicked high up in the air, down to Will Kennedy. The Camilla man, the Sharks fullback, who's tackled 10 metres out from his own line. They'll start a new set from there. 10 minutes played, second half. St. George Illawarra 20, Cronulla Sutherland 14 here on ABC Sport. But yeah, all the players from that Dragons side are now gone, apart from Blake Laurie. And their captain that day was Cam McInnes, who of course now leads the Sharks. Can they fight back in this game? Here's Talakai now for Cronulla Sutherland. They're hemmed in though, their own end, 20 out in their own line. Teague Wilson receives it now, 25 out. This will be second last player figure coming up now. Brayley at dummy half. Open side right now as Fanua Blake. It was a Dragons junior from memory, and Fanua Blake way back when. Play at 40 out from that northern line. Brayley finds Hines, and he can punt it downfield here. End of the set. The Ames most recent try scorer in Clint Gutherson. And the Dragons skipper is taken down 40 out. 20 in from the western side nearest to us. No Moses Sully, who succumbed to a knee injury in that first half. So the Dragons down a man, but Little here at dummy half doing a good job as Cook has moved to the centres. Now is Hamish Stewart. Will we see Jacob Halangahu at some stage, of course, also named a debut on the bench. Little feeds it across to the clamour on that right-hand side of the park. Got the tackle of Brayley away here. Comes back through centre field. King Tongi, Gutherson. Now Leilua. Off here to Gutherson. Little kick to the corner. Allen was chasing it, but it came off Kennedy and bounced back here as it was still the last. It was a loose ball pounced on there by Ramian. And the Sharks go back on the attack, 10 out from their own line. But
Knock on by Billy Burns.
Burns is knocked on. I looked at you then, Hal. Illawarra is made, and that means there'll be more possession here for the Dragons inside about 15 metres of that northern line. It remains St.George Illawarra 20, Cronulla Sutherland 14, 12 going second half, and a counter-attack on the touchline.
Yeah, disappointing error there by Billy Burns, putting his team under pressure here. Dragons in a great spot to attack, but just an update on Sully. It was his MCL, so medial, which he succumbed to.
Yeah, and medials can be, you're talking last month of the season, you're probably
4 to 6 weeks, depending how bad it is.
Yeah, that could be season over at this stage of the year, but that's no good for him. King Tonga, 15 out. Little, back to Laurie. Been busy by the side of half-time, Blake Laurie, the veteran forward. Driven back here, though, by Nikora and also Hazelton will play it. 30 metres out now for the Dragons. Little across to King Tonga. Inside ball, Clemmer, who left Fanua Blake in his wake, and he's taken up, he's tackled down there by Billy Burns. Was the 18th man last week. Oh, messy pass from Little. Went along the deck there as it was dived on. At least for them, it was Flanagan who got there first. Plays it back there for Little. And now here is Hame Sele. Last play, Dragons. 6 out from the Sharks line, northern end. Flanagan, back to King Tonga. Quick work here. Leilua couldn't get the offload there. And that will be a changeover. Sharks back on the attack. 8 out from their own line at northern end here at Cogra Jubilee. St.George Illawarra 20. Cronulla Sutherland 14. 13 minutes gone in the second half. 0467 920 222. The Sharks fan in the background is really off-putting, says Mandy and Grafton. Not much we can do about that, Mandy. Says go the Dragons. We bring you the sound mix with our expert tech team here. Nathan Turnbull does a wonderful job. But we can't work miracles when you have certain voices in the crowd and everything like that, Mandy. Appreciate your patience. The Sharks here. Mulatalo dotted on a loose pass. Plays it now for Brayley. 20 out from their own line. Adam Fanua Blake tries to just send them out of there. And he's tackled with 30 out. Saints 20, Sharks 14. 14 going second half. Left-hand side they go. Kennedy and now to Talakai. And is run down from behind there by Flanagan on the halfway. Brayley, open side right. Trindle's kick up in the air. Hangs there for a while. It's allowed to bounce away there to Tyrell Sloan, but he was wrapped up by Nico Hines. The ball's come loose. Ash Klein's going to say it was held there, so it's going to be a penalty going the Dragons' way. And they'll go back on the attack from deep in their own end, southern half of Cogra Jubilee. 14 going second half. It's they who lead. The Dragons 20, the Sharks 14.
Yeah, well, that's the best set that the Sharks have had for a long time. They're able to make a little incision down their left-hand side, which got them moving forward. So last play comes and Trindle throws up a really big sort of floating bomb, and Nico Hines did well to chase through, but the tackle was called by the referee, and then he rakes it at it trying to get it out and regain possession. That's what the penalty comes for.
Steve says, a brilliant young Illawarra junior. Does that mean he'll leave? Referring to Hayden Buchanan. So far, so good in his first grade career. Yeah, I mentioned the Steelers juniors, in particular those guys from Gerringong. Egan, Stewart, who's out there, and also now Buchanan. As Little from dummy half. Midway through the set here, off to Leilua. Flick pass back to Allen. Left edge they go. There is Buchanan put down. In fact, it's second last play here. 35 out from their own line. There's Jack de Bellin, who's off to Parramatta next year, of course. Last play, Dragons, who lead 20 points to 14. Drop punt on that last play from Flanagan. Goes high down towards Will Kennedy. As it gets darker here at Cogra, the lights have taken over a little bit as well. Mentioned first of 3 games, they all mean something. This is big for the Sharks. They trail here by that 6-point deficit. Offload comes back here from to Nico Hines from the ruck, and Hines is tackled 35 out. Plays it there, Mulatalo, and now Katoa just bursts away. Wants to find the gap there in that wall of red defence, but he's brought down 5 short of the halfway. It's swung across here to McInnes, and now Adam Fanua Blake, a good post-contact gain. He leads the comp for post-contact meters, Adam Fanua Blake. He's 30 out now from that southern line. Hines back across now, Trindle on this second last play. The Sharks lost by Talakai. Under some pressure there from Cook. Picked up now by Tyrell Sloan, and now the ball and the player goes out over the eastern touchline. Ashley Klein just clarifying that it's going to be here a changeover.
Yeah, so it'll be a Sharks ball. He said that there was advantage taken by Sloan, which, you know, he's gone over 10 metres, you would have to say, and the Sharks did come up with an error. Tyrell Sloan tries to run to the sideline, an error comes his way, and it's going to be a Sharks play the ball.
So, play it just inside the Dragons half here, Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Britton Nickera scored a try last time these sides met back in round 15. I will say one thing actually, Dean, about games between these two sides. The hallmark of the Sharks wins have been big second halves. So I've got a few examples here which I'll get to in a second, but they've been slow to start here, having not added any points in this second half so far, and the Dragons lead by 6. 30 out, 20 in from the eastern side is Wilton playing it now to Brayley. Trendall inside ball for Noah Blake. Takes on Stewart, so too Clemmer. Tackled now 15 metres out centre field. So, a couple of plays left in this set now for the Sharks. Can they find these first points in the second half? Hind, dummies, run down from behind by Gutherson. And it was lost, made the error. So, Gutterson's tackle means the Nico Hines error. And St.George Illawarra can do no wrong in this second half. There'll be a challenge.
Previously tackle 4, we have a captain's challenge here from the Sharks, disputing the decision of a knock-on. Might need to check for high contact as well.
Well, Gutherson was adamant that he'd forced an error. He was pretty quick to jump up and signal to the referee.
Cleared the contact from Clint, it's fine.
His hand comes off it, but it's kind of still wedged against his body by his arm.
Definitely a wedge.
There's a wedge in there.
It's tough. It's almost a crusher the way it sort of comes. Hines is not sort of, I suppose, folded over, but comes in quite heavily on Nico Hines.
They've cleared the sort of foul play. They're just trying to see if that ball comes. Oh, I reckon it does touch the ground.
Nico's hand comes off the ball. However, the ball is pinned against his body. There's no knock on. The captain's challenge is successful.
Okay. Yeah, I said that it's pinned. His forearm, you can see his forearm is wedged pinned.
So, successful challenge here for the Sharks. It's still Saints 20, Sharks 14. 17 gone, 23 left in this game. Counter back to you on the touchline.
A great pick up there, Dean, with that pin ball against Nico. Great positioning now for them to try to get back and get even with the Dragons.
Okay, so here it comes up to Trendall, and now it's behind Talakai, picked up by Molitalo. He was dispossessed in that deep corner as well this time by Gutherson. So Gutherson makes the play this time on the winger, and it will be a Dragons ball, 10 out from their own line at southern end. They keep a 20 points to 14 lead here. So just on that game in round 15 at Shark Park, Dragons led that 18-6 at the half and lost 30 points to 18. Last time they met here was round 4 2023. Cronulla Sutherland won that 40 points to 8. The second half was 28-0. They also met in Wollongong last year. Halftime was 14-6 to then 38-10. So they had big second halves against their local rivals, the Sharks, but so far they haven't fired a shot, and they trail 20 points to 14 roughly midway through this second 40. Played there by Clemmer. Little back to Gutherson, stands in the tackle of and there was Billy Burns, and now also McInnes, and now the last play kick comes from Kyle Flanagan. High ball down toward the corner as it's taken by Molitalo. Skips into that wall of defence there where Cook is waiting, so too Stewart. Play at 30 out, 10 in from the eastern side. Kennedy goes to the ground here in the tackle of Little. He does surrender here, and he's lost the ball. So again, the Dragons force the error, Dean Hallertau. This is great defence for the Dragons at all ends of the ground.
Yeah, it is, and no argument there from Will Kennedy, just the pressure and the desire from the Dragons defensively. And, we've seen it in that last play up the other end, or there's going to be HIA here for the Sharks. Billy Burns coming from the field. And yeah, we've seen this from the Dragons. Clint Gutherson, when he stopped a potential try at the other end of the field and dispossessed the Sharks, Ronaldo Molitalo, and he just fired up, and then the rest of his team got around him and they fired up as well. So they're bringing that real stoic attitude in defence.
Back on comes Braden Hamlin-Welle. Round the ground, second half NRLW. Newcastle 16 leads West Tigers 6. Second half New South Wales Cup, Penrith 26 leads Newtown 10. Second half scores in the women's comp in Queensland. Winner Manly 14-10 leads Western Clydesdales. Northern Pride 14-12 leads North Devils. Dragons, so many scores. It's hard to get through them all here. It's played now by Buchanan, dummy half. Little clamour here for the Dragons, back on the attack, and he hits and spins off at Vanilla Blake, and he's dragged down 20 short of that northern line, centre field. Little back here to DeBellin. Now Flanagan, Gutherson, Cook steps here on the inside of Talakai. Talakai gets him though in concert with Trindle. 10 out deep in that northeastern corner of Cogra Jubilee Stadium. Back here again, DeBellin got it from Flanagan. King Tongia finds Gutherson, the captain, in centre field. Taken 20 out, he'll play it there. Picked up by Little. She has it back to the right now for DeBellin. Flanagan, Stewart, quick pass, went behind Sloan to go and retrieve it. This will be last place in George Illawarra. 20 points to 14 their lead. 20 gone, 20 left in this second half on ABC Sport. Flanagan's got off one step, goes high in the air, launching Katoa from behind there on Leilua. It's come back here for the Sharks, and Ramian's away. Not before he is before he's stopped by Gutherson, and then also Emre Gula. Here is another burst of a spin up that right edge from Tony Katoa. Played to Hines. On to Britton Nickera. On a straightening run here, 40 out from that northern end. 19.50 left in the game. Brayley across to McInnes, and now Trindle shares it with Kennedy. It's a slow shift that left-hand side. He's tackled by Flanagan. He'll play it on the other 30 metre, on the halfway line, in fact, it is here for the Sharks. Bellon lifts Olatalo with the tackle, slams him down there in concert with Stewart. That's on the 40-metre line. Now the last play kick from Trindle. Go straight up in the air. Gutherson calls for it. In comes Kennedy through the air. He's saying knock on by Will Kennedy first, Ash Klein. So it's going to be a changeover. A possession here. Byron play the ball with St. George Illawarra, who leads 20 points to 14. 19 left in this second half. Danica on the touchline.
Yeah, the Sharks just aren't throwing too much at the Dragons at the moment. They're their own worst enemies with their errors. So they really need to start playing some footy if they're going to come away with a win today.
Here they go up through centre field now, St. George Illawarra. They control the game, albeit by a slim margin. They've lost some games by close margins as well. It's the 7 wins this year, but have given a good account of themselves against some decent teams. Here is DeBellin, who's tackled short of the 40-metre line now. Played Little. And now again releasing Leilua. No Moses Sully. Suffered what's believed an MCL, a knee injury in that first half. A kick from King Tongi on the last play. Kennedy stands at the 20-metre line now, takes the catch, and tries to sort of just kind of sway through that left edge of the fence, but he's stopped there by Buchanan. Plays it there for Ramian. Awkward low ball there for Katoa. Lost the footy as well. He lost his footing and the footy into the path of David Clemmer. And the Dragons are back on the attack, 25 out centre field. Here's Stewart, wrestled to the turf there by Ramian and also Wilton. Dragons with repeat ball. A lot of possession in this second half especially. And Ray Gula, 10 out centre field. Good gain for him. 20 points to 14 the scoreline. Little back to DeBellin. Now tipped on to Flanagan, and now Gutherson. Oh, it's left behind by Moatalo. Was there a touch in there though from the Dragons? I think he'll say it was off Gutherson and went forward. So it will be a Sharks step.
Captain challenge here from the Dragons is due to the decision of a knock-on.
While we hear from Chris Butler.
Ruling is a double knock-on.
Women's comp in Queensland, winner Manly 16, Western Clydesdales 10, Queensland Cup men's second half, Burley 18, Redcliffe 12. First half, Falcons 6, lead Captors 4. Ooh, is he actually?
So the challenge came from Gutherson. He was animated
See if he gets a touch, and if he does, what direction the ball goes.
AFL first quarter, Sydney 20 leads Brisbane 13, by the way. So it's not much if it's anything.
Well, he just said that he pushed it, so he did touch it.
Viewing all angles.
I reckon he should have kept that quiet there, Gutherson.
Because if he touched it, it's going forward.
It looks like it might go off the right hand forward, but he's saying he pushed it backwards.
definitely push it back of all possible outcomes. I can't imagine this will be anything other than a
maybe
shark exclusive feed.
The challenge.
He definitely touched it, like, because he said he did touch it.
Yeah, he gave himself up.
Based on available angles, we have inconclusive evidence to overrule the on-field ruling that Clint touches the ball and goes forward. Dragons will retain their challenge.
We'll retain the challenge, but it will be a Sharks scrum feed here. 10 metres out from their own line at northern end. 17 and a half left. Saints 20, Sharks 14. Danny Carr on the touchline.
Yeah, boys, just the crowd number for today, there's 11,861 fans out to watch the game.
Feels like more. It always does at a joint like this when they're willing and they come for a big derby or a big game. And of course, they won't be playing finals, the Dragons, but they can cause some headaches for the Sharks, that's for sure. Big games coming up, as we mentioned. Dolphins, Roosters at Lang Park with Zane Bojack and Billy Moore, and then it's come loose here from Talakai. So again, the Dragons force, no, it's going to be a penalty. It was right, says referee Ash Klein. So that means...
Challenge again.
No, sure.
Here we go.
That's right. Captain challenge here from the Dragons. There's been a decision of a strip.
So this will be penalty count 5-4 Dragons way, if it remains that way.
Just don't admit anything, anyone. There's so much going on around the ball there. This might be one that's a bit hard to tell. That might go against you there. I think Damien is the one who challenged.
Yeah. It's a definite stripping action from Damien Cook.
It's also
He's right hands around the ball here, and he pulls the ball out with it. Just looking at the dangerous tackle element now as well.
We can't argue. We're going to make
Flanagan come down on, or was it the fact that his legs come up? It's little kind of...
There's also a dangerous tackle in this play from Tyrell, which will be reportable. The captain's challenge is unsuccessful.
Double penalty.
There you go. So it was slowing one of the players on the outside. Penalty, yes, there you go. Penalty count 5-4 by the Dragons in this game so far. It remains 20 points to 14 the scoreline. 17 left here on ABC Sport across ABC Radio, digital radio, and of course the ABC Listen app. You're with Brett Sprigg, Dean Hallertau, Jonathan Rungy as well. Trindle back on the inside to Hamlin Welle. And inside the Sharks, inside the Dragons territory they go. Now it's the set restart for inside the 10. So Nickera tackled 40 out centre field. Play there for Brayley. Open side left now to McInnes, and he's brought down by Clemmer. So too in there, Emre Gula. First try scorer in the game. 30 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Hines shares it back again here with Trindle, and now wrapped up down there, ball and all, is Britton Nickera. 25 out, 20 in from the western side. Hines shares it with Adam Fanua-Blake, and he stands in the tackle of Gula, who'll play it. 11 out from that southern line. Brayley off to Hines. Now Trindle shares it now with Kennedy up that left-hand side, but he steps here on the tackle of Cook and brought down deep in that southeastern corner of Cogra Jubilee Stadium. Open side right they come. Trindle off a step. His kick up in the air. Sets it up there for Molotalo. Down for Wilton. 6 more now for the Sharks. Go off the Dragons.
Second by the Sharks.
So, scrum feed here for the Sharks. Didn't quite get the sort of the wheel and go there of the 6 more because they had their own knock on in there, but it will be a Sharks scrum feed 10 out from the Dragons line southern end. As Cal mentioned, 11,861 the crowd here on this quite cool and mostly wet sellout. Although it didn't rain for too long in the second half. It actually rained during the halftime break, which I'm sure Luke Lewis loved in the old boys game. But he wasn't their best player, I must admit. Scrum feed here, centre field. Brayley across to Nico Hines, and now he's brought down by Gula and also Gutherson. 8 metres out from that southern line. Open side left. Plenty of space for Nickera on to Fanua-Blake. Straightening run there toward the Bellin, and tackled there by Little in there as well. Let go by Gula. Play to Brayley. Off to Hamlin. Well, look, a wrecking ball burst through, but he's still ready to shine out for the Sharks. Left-hand side of the uprights. He'll play it eventually here for Brayley.
They'll fall in a body to get him to start with.
He's saying it's going to be here. Play being assessed in back play as he blows time off. And Ash Klein, he pointed towards. Who did he point towards to be assessed?
Semre Gula was the tackler. Yeah. It was Hamlin Willie who got hit high.
Okay, so penalty Sharks and that as well. Here's McInnes. 7 metres out, right-hand side of the uprights. Played here for Brayley. Open side left with Hines. Hamlin well, they haven't looked like scoring a try in this second half, the Sharks. Can they change it? A trail by 6 points, 14 minutes left in the game. Brayley, all the way back here for Trindle. Right edge now, Kennedy. Cut options there, Katara on the outside, but he's tackled now there by King Tonga. Play it 7 metres out now, Trindle. Back across left-hand side, Brayley. Can they shift it quick enough now? Hines shapes the kick, goes the pass now. Talakai comes steaming through, wrapped up by Little, and he'll play it now. 7 metres out, left-hand side of the post. Brayley to Hines, off to Trindle. On here to Kennedy. Little show and go. The punt fake there, and he goes in to score. No. Is there? Yes. There's a structure there made by the Sharks on that right edge. So we'll come back, and that was, I think it was Rainian who spoiled the party there for the Sharks. Or did,
Britt Nickera.
Nickera was, yeah. It's kind of obvious when you look at the inside, because Kennedy went and just scored the try, but straight away, Nickera had taken out one of the defenders in the line. So it remains St. George Illawarra 20, Cronulla Sutherland 14. 13 minutes and 10 seconds left in the game. Back to Kara on the touchline.
Yeah, the Sharks just don't look like scoring. Sorry, boys. I didn't know what to say. It looked too easy there for Will. And it was, obviously an illegal try. So not looking good for the Sharks in attack at the moment.
Time running out, albeit only a 6-point game. So I'm going to try the difference here so far, or at least remaining in this game. King Tonga on the halfway, brought down now by Nickera. Little bursts away here for the Dragons. Good post-contact gain there as Brayley follows up. Stops him, 35 out centre field. Gutherson on here to DeBellin. You almost say as well, Shock, that the amount of ball it had in there in the Sharks half, they should be up by more, the Dragons, as it's now been lost. But it'll be a penalty.
Yeah, so Adam Fanua-Blake's in the ruck, and Jacob Little goes to throw the pass to his right, and he collects. Well, the ball hits Adam Fanua-Blake, so the referees were ordered a penalty. Now, there was a rule change a few years ago. You can't, as a dummy half, deliberately throw it in to an opposition player lying in the ruck or in the ruck accidentally. If you do it deliberately, it'll go against you. And in Ash Klein's view, it was not intentional.
Jacob, we're having a chat now to the players, still that's going on, but it's going to be a penalty here the Dragons' way. Penalty count 7-5 the way the Dragons in this game. Scoreline 20 points to 14. Pete and Jervis Bay after the crowd number, 11,861 it was. Joe from Goulburn enjoying a call whilst teaching my daughter to drive. Dragons will be a top 8 chance next year. Have you done driving lessons yet, Shop, in your family?
Well, I drove my oldest. She drove me up to Central Coast the other way.
Beautiful. That'll log some hours.
Yeah, she needs them. She's well behind at the moment, but she's doing well.
Speaking of being well behind, the Sharks will be more than 6 points behind here because they'll take the 2, which would certainly make sense here. Cole Flanagan places the ball on the tee, 19 metres out, and directly in front here at the north end of Jubilee Stadium. So this to make it 22 points to 14, and put it beyond that. Converter try the difference. He's only 2 from 5 though so far today, Cole Flanagan. He's had some tougher kicks. This shouldn't trouble him. They're just about there, the Saints. If he makes good here, and indeed he does. Dragons 22, Sharks 14, 11 and a half left in this game here on ABC Sport. Back to Karen on the touchline.
Yeah, the crowd here is very happy. It could be the first time that the Dragons get a win since 2016 if they come away with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Flanagan now 3 from 6 and 22 points to 14. Gaz says the local home ground grounds like Jubilee do seem to have a great atmosphere about them usually. Yeah, it certainly does. Short kickoff here, by the way, has come down here for the Dragons, and they're 25 out from their own line with Damien Cook. Hi, boys. Great call. Go to the Dragons. Shout out to Paul Stanley Jones, a Shark supporter, as the Gorilla in the city to surf tomorrow for a great cause for cancer treatment, says Mario in Casino. Thank you very much for that. Trish says, never have I seen 54 years. Go to Dragons. Completely one-eyed, Trish. Big game for your Roosters coming up against the Dolphins as well at Lang Park. Every game massive today. Here's the Bellon, a good post contact, gain here over halfway. He'll play it now in centre field. Gutherson, that pass looked forward-ish there to the left-hand side where there is a carry from Jacob Halangahu on debut in the last 10 minutes of the game. King Tongi's kick up in the air. It's up there for Kennedy. Taken down here, 5 out from his own line, and he's dragged back by Little and Allen and also Buchanan in that northwestern corner of Cogra. Played now Ramian. Off to Katoa. No real meterage for him. He's still inside that 10-metre line. Time running out here for the Sharks as well. Down by 8 points. Here's Molitalo in space. Talakai receives it. Slips over into the path of Damien Cook. Sharks will play it. 32 out from their own line. And in from the eastern side. Open side right. Wilton receives the ball now. A try scorer in the first half. His 100th NRL appearance. Played to Brayley. No look pass now for Burns. On to Hines. Right-hand side shift. It's now a big, strong run. Ramian. He's steamrolled Buchanan. And he's tackled 5 inside Dragons territory. Nickera dummy half. Last play. Hines kick. Up in the air it goes. Chasing it back there is Stewart, the big man. Punts himself under it. Takes a pretty simple catch. Dragons back on the attack. Dean Hallertau 20 out from their own line. And they lead 22 points to 14.
Yeah, we've all mentioned about the Sharks attack and how they just haven't looked like scoring a try in the second half in particular. And one thing we haven't noticed is Blake Brayley in this game. He hasn't jumped out much. He hasn't got many opportunities. He's the form player of the competition. And it's due to his running game. We just haven't seen that because the platform's not there from the rest of his team.
This could be big to say. Any win's a big one for the Dragons in the current phase of their era. But this could be costly for the Sharks, and it would mean the first win since round 5, 2020. The Dragons have beaten their Southern Sydney rivals, Cronulla Sutherland. De Bellon. Play it just short of the halfway here. Now Flanagan will kick downfield there out to Will Kennedy, standing 15 out from his own line in that northeastern corner of Jubilee Stadium. In front of the packed hill, shy of 12,000 here. 8 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game. Dragons lead by 8 points as Molitalo carries it back through centre field and tackled 30 out from his own line, northern end. Hines off to Ramian. Dummy the pass here. Tackled from behind by King Tomia. Play it now 40 out. Fraley, no look pass to Hines. And now spun a full 360 to tackle it. Come all the way back here. The ball in dispute. It was just lacklustre from Adam Fanua Blake. But he was tackled out the ball there by Jacob Little. So it will be a penalty for the Sharks. Which, as I said, it was a little lax there from the big man.
Well, it was pretty, I don't know if it was clever or not, but he sort of shielded the ball and then Jacob Little tackled him, which is, there was no other way for Jacob Little, I suppose, other than through him, but he gives away a penalty.
Drew the penalty there for Noah Blake. Here's Billy Burns. And a 3-man tackle. Clemmer in there to greet him. So too De Bellon. It's been good today for the Dragons. 35 out. Left-hand side they come. And Fanua Blake gains a quick 10 more metres. 22 points to 14 is the Dragons lead here at Cogra. Inside ball. Talakai back to Hazelton. And he's tackled 20 out centre field. Brayley. Back to Fanua Blake. And now Burns not quite there. 9 metres shy. In front of the uprights. Played there to Brayley. Right across here, Hines. Catch and release now to Kennedy. Bounced off 1, 2. Can't offload. It's going to be last play here. Metre out for the Sharks. Wilton. Now a kick from dummy half, but it's gone too deep. So it will be a Dragons ball. Restart from 20 and 7 tackles, and they lead still 22 points to 14. The Dragons with 6.5 left. Let's get down to Karen on the touchline.
We've got a captain's challenge.
We've got the challenges. Sorry, Karen, hold that thought for a second.
Okay. The captain's challenge here, Buck. The Sharks believe that there's a high contact on the face of the player. on-field ruling was the ball went dead from the Sharks.
So who was being kicked it? Because it was right in that far corner. Brayley, yeah.
Looped around.
Tyrell slowing cleans him up.
There is high contact here from Tyrell. We just need to judge the level of force now.
Okay, this could prove decisive.
Hey, Bucky, this is a review, mate, so there's no... It either is or it isn't.
Yeah, I understand.
That's a clarification there from the bunker on the ref.
Yeah, so it's going to be a penalty.
It's more of a bracing action, so it'll be an on-field penalty, and the captain's challenge is successful.
Okay, penalty count now 7-all. So that late contact from Sloan on Brayley will mean we'll come back here.
There is high contact, right? Head on head. No, it's not right. And once it goes to the bunker, right, they've got to rule on high contact.
So,
I think it was his shoulder, Clint.
6.5 minutes left in the game, Counter, and the Dragons lead by 8 points still for the time being.
Yeah, I was going to give you credit to the Dragons' defence. They've been all over the Sharks, but unfortunately, yeah, Tyrell just coming up with a high shot. He's already on report for one earlier.
Yes.
So, yeah, not that good for him there.
Okay, here go the Sharks. Wilton plays it 8 metres out now. Brayley on to Nico Hines. Shares it now with Adam Fanua Blake. Takes on Halangahu. Doing the defensive work there on debut. Sharks a metre and a half out from that southern line. Brayley across to Hines. Shares it now with Wilton. Storming back on the inside. Wrapped up by DeBellin and also Stewart and Flanagan. Played to Brayley. Blindside lefty comes now. Hines runs it toward the line here. He's tackled from behind by Flanagan. Deep in that southeastern corner of Coira Jubilee Stadium. Open side right. Untidy pass there on the bounce there to Hazelton came from Brayley. Hazelton's now 7 metres out. Last place Sharks. 5:40 left. They trail by 8 points. Brayley from dummy half with Trindle. And he dummies, offloads, but it was to no one in particular. Pounced on there first by Kennedy, but it was last play. The changeover. Dragons back on the attack. And with every set in the game, as every second ticks down, these home fans know Dean Hallertau. Oh, hang on.
A captain's challenge from the Sharks. Disputing the on-field decision that it's a last tackle handover. The on-field ruling is...
No sense of theatre.
Into the...
But my point stands, these Dragons fans can sense this win not far away shot.
Yeah, and deservedly so. The Dragons, as Kiana said, have just been repelling the Sharks at every turn. And the Sharks just look like they can't string anything together, create any opportunities. So I guess they're saying here that it's off a Dragon.
Come off Halangahu.
He's just making a tackle there. And it pops out. I'm not sure. It's just a lost ball for mine.
I think it's almost lost before it gets to the upper or to the left shoulder of Halangahu.
I mean, they've got a challenge, right, the Sharks, so they're allowed to do it. Definitely.
Just looking if it hits the Dragon or it's knocked backwards. Braden loses possession of the ball forward into the Dragon, which is a knock on. The captain's challenge is unsuccessful.
Right, there you go. So the trick, there you go, Clint, use your foot for mining. What constitutes a play the ball? 10 metres out from their own line here, Corey Allen. And there they go. Through centre field. Running a bit long here at this game. First of our 3 games. Big result here potentially. Halangahu has it for the Dragons. 25 out from his own line. Now to Bellin. Busy as always. Slips there in the contact of Brayley. Play it. 8 metres short of the 40-metre line now. Otherwise, only 32 metres out from your own line. Played now Gutherson. Little on the last. Off to Flanagan. Kicks downfield now for Will Kennedy. And he will take it 15 out from his own line. 4:45 left in the game. The Sharks have to get going. Molitalo busts through 1, 2. Still going over halfway, but he was run down by Tyrell Sloan. Equal to the task was the pacey winger on winger. Open side right now, Talakai. And the bright pink boots stands in a 3-man tackle. Clemmer was in there, so too Little, and also Hame Sele. 35 out. On the right-hand side they go. Hines. And now again, Trindle. Inside ball, Katoa. And again, they swarm on him. Halangahu was in there. And he'll play down to Brayley now. Comes back to Hamlin Welle. He's 15 metres out now, 20 in from the western side. This is a couple of plays left now for the Sharks, who trail by 8 points, 22 points to 14. Hines, Hazelton, hanging on for dear life was Hame Sele. He'll play it now, Hazelton. 6 outs in the field. Brayley back across to Hines. Darts left, now back to the right-hand side. Trindle pushes out the pass, all the way there towards Nickera. Shares it now. Oh, it's come to Katoa on the bounce. He steps in field, spreads that Dragons defence, but he's wrapped up. Oh, dispossessed by DeBellon. Still alive here, Trindle. Still the last now for the Sharks. They're 20 out, all the way back Nickera. Coverage pass across to Wilton. Now Brayley onto Talakai, and now Talakai. Oh, it's lost. He's lost the footy. How did that happen? I've got a feeling it was it Flanagan who came in there late to make a try-saving tackle. Wow! What a cheer from the fans on that eastern side of the hill. They've witnessed a try-saving act from Kyle Flanagan on CSC for Talakai. He came across to effect an awkward pass, and the ball goes out over the eastern touchline here. So Dragons on the attack, 3:15 left, and they lead 22 to Cronulla's 14.
Yeah, well, one after another. There's a penalty now will help the Dragons get away from their own line, and it's a high tackle by Tom Hazelton. But yeah, the Dragons, their energy levels are so high. They're right behind each other. Their line speed when they're resetting after the back of even a quick play the ball is enormous, and that enables them to go across and shut those plays down when they maybe get stripped for numbers. And well done, Kyle Flanagan. Huge play for his team there.
3 minutes and 6 seconds left. Gutakarangi, it's still the Dragons by 8 points.
Yeah, the crowd is just going off here. I think they're sensing that win is a little bit closer now, especially after getting another penalty. But unreal scramble there by the Dragons defence to just hold out those Sharkies once again.
Just by the way, at Lang Park, kick-off there, just over half an hour away. The Dolphins, All Blacks, he's going for 10. 10 in the bin. 10 in the bin for Britton Nickera.
Was that for mouthing off? Is that what
must have been? So,
or was it for a high shot?
He'll see the rest of the game. We'll see a replay here. What happens? Yeah, he shoulder charge on Corey Allen.
It's a pretty forceful contact.
Yeah. So he's put the shoulder into the chin there of Corey Allen, and that's why he's been sent to the bin. So he'll take no further part in the game. 2:55 left. I had team news from Lang Park coming through shortly. Dragons are on the attack here. They control the game with that 8-point buffer. Little across here to Halangahu. The Dolphins, All Blacks, Tafar and Kefu Finipabiaki will start. Mark Nichols and Lemuelu are on the bench. For the Roosters, Ben Uelo and Spencer Leniu start. Victor Radley and Connor Watson back to the bench there at Lang Park. You'll hear the call there with Zane Bojack and Billy Moore for the call there, and John Manning on the sideline. 2:20 left in the game here at Cogra. The Dragons on the cusp of a direct break. It's intercepted here by Hines from middle. Hines is bursting away. They're chasing him. He's got Katoa on the outside. He steps in field. Eventually they stop him. Buchanan came in. So too in there was Corey Allen. He'll play it though. 8 metres out from that southern line. 2 minutes and 5 seconds left in the game. Sharks all the way across here to Trindle. Plenty of space out there on that eastern side. Talakai to Molitalo. Run down there and the ball went with him. And it's a forward pass anyway. And the Dragons now know they've got it. The game is theirs. Minute 45 left. Oh, the Saints have been marching in all right. They still lead 22 points to 14. They've held the Sharks scoreless in their second 40. And that'll be a hell of a slip up here for the Sharks as they were pressing their way. They would have hoped up further in that top 8 or potentially top 4. This will be very costly for them, this loss.
Yeah, it will. And I think it's the fashion that they've gone about their game today that's going to be most disappointing. They just haven't looked like a team that wants to be in the top 8 or that should be in the top 8 or 4. And again, it's the desperation defence from the Dragons. I think that was Clint Gutherson coming over on that occasion to shut it down, force the forward pass. And they are pumped up, the Dragons, and so they should be.
Meanwhile, AFL second quarter, Brisbane and Sydney 33 points all at the Gabba. 90 seconds left here. Dragons scrum feed. They know it's in the bag here as they come across left-hand side of the scrum. And Buchanan on debut. Scored a try in that first half. Blake Laurie now has the footy. Takes it up the 20-metre line. Plays it now. Little back to the Bellon. Now tackled 30 out from his own line, 20 in from the western side. Little feeds it to the right-hand side now for Clemmer. Penalty count 8-7 in the game. They take some time off the clock here, the Dragons. 54 seconds left. Party time here. A drought-breaking derby win for them. Laurie plays it to Little. Off to the right-hand side. Flanagan's kick. Punted downfield there onto the chest of Sione Katoa. 38 seconds left in the game. Up the right edge he goes. Swats away one would-be tackler. Shares it with Ramian. And driven all the way back out there. Back to his 3-metre line is that man Jesse Ramian. Nicola Sinbind a short time ago as well. So they're down a man, they're down 8 points, and that's how it'll stay here. 17 seconds left. Hazelton plays it there for Brayley. Off here to CSC for Talakai. 8 seconds left. The hill is still packed. Brayley off to Trindle, lost by Hines, picked up by Sloan. Party time at Cogra. What a celebration for the first time in 11 starts after 10 straight losses. It's a drought-breaking derby win in most impressive circumstances for the Dragons. In the week they re-signed their coach Shane Flanagan. This is the players saying, in Flano we trust. It's a big win for them and equally a massive loss and a headache in the finals permutations for the Sharks and their aspirations.
Yeah, you're spot on, Spriggy. It's a huge win for the Dragons, and to back up what they did last week against the Raiders proves that it wasn't just a fluke, that they've turned up with a good attitude again, repeated a good effort of a performance, and that was what that whole game was built on, was just effort and willingness to turn up for each other. There were moments where the Sharks had opportunities to score points and they looked like breaking the Dragons line, but the last-ditch defence and those efforts is what got them there with the ball in hand. It wasn't a high-scoring affair. There wasn't a lot of open play from either team, but the Dragons did enough again on the back of some really good first-half completions and some great defence.
Emre Gula, Tyrell Sloan, Hayden Buchanan in the first half, Clint Gutherson in the second half, scoring a try. The only try scorer in the second half across the entire game for the Sharks. Braden Hamlin, Welle Teague, Wilton also crossed, but they were scoreless. Helton nil in that second 40 in slightly wet conditions, but otherwise quite pleasant here at Jubilee Stadium. And the Dragons win 22 points to 14. Get your three best players ready, Shop. We'll get an interview from downstairs from the winners first of all, and we'll get going to record an interview later on for our post-game wrap-up with Maury and the guys at Stadium Australia. We'll head back there shortly as well as we build towards not only that game later on, Canterbury and the Warriors, but also coming up next, we'll hear from the Dolphins and the Roosters. Let's get down to you, Kiana. It's with you.
Yeah, I'm joined by Carl Flanagan. Carl, massive win for you guys. Breaking the drought. It's been 10 straight losses to the Sharks. How good does that one feel?
Yeah, it feels great. I think it's been well known that we've put a good couple of months together, but we weren't getting a result, and obviously beat Canberra last week in tough conditions, which is on top of the ladder, and then the Sharks are up there as well. So what the season could have been, but yeah, it's good to obviously come in for our fans and put on a good performance.
And speaking of your fans, they really showed up for you guys today. How special is it to get the win for them?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I think it's been a up and down season for us, and they're here every game in all conditions, rain and wind, and they really owe it to them.
There are a few moments there where I thought the Sharks could have got some points towards the end of the game, but your defensive resolve was unreal. How good does that feel to work hard and scramble for one another?
Yeah, it was great. I think they had a few opportunities down this right edge where if they nailed that last pass, they'd probably get some points and make it a hurry home, but we scrambled away and forced a forward pass or a knock on there. So to knock off the Sharks, as you mentioned, which have beat us the last 10 games, it's great for the Red V.
Good on you. Enjoy the win.
Cheers, Kiana. Thank you.
Carl Flanagan there with Kiana Takarangi. And Kiana, sit tight. We'll get an interview. You can record later on with someone else from the Dragons. 11,861 the crowd here, and it was a great win for the Dragons. 22 points to 14. Who are your three best players, Dean Hallertau, and the ABC Player of the Year?
Yeah, for my 3 points, I'm going to go to Clint Gutherson. I just think the effort that he has in defence is enormous. Coming up with some really clutch plays, forcing errors, saving points or potential points, and running for 150 metres, which is no mean feat. 2 points I'm going to Luciano Leilua. He was really dangerous on that edge for them. 132 running metres. Pretty sound in defence as well, but just a handful with the ball in hand. And I'm going to go 1 point to the hooker come centre in Damien Cook. He made around 40 tackles, which is pretty typical for him, but to flip from hooker out to the centres was a pretty good job for him.
Because of Moses Sully's immediately. Yes. So 3 Gutson, 3 later Lure, 1 to Cook. On report was Jack DeBellon and Tyrell Sloan for the Dragons, and Britton Nickera also on report, and Sinbin late in that second half. So from 16-14 in the first half, 22 points to 14, the Dragons with a big win. It's a massive win for them and a hell of a loss for the Sharks as well. Next up, Dragons are away against the Warriors at Mount Smart on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and the Sharks are at home against the Titans at Shark Park Saturday 3 o'clock. Okay, thank you, Shop. Thank you, Kiana. Thank you to Nathan Turnbull, our tech here, and Renell in the studio. Let's head back to Stadium Australia. Andrew Moore, what a result there for the Dragons over the Sharks. Back to you and the guys at Stadium Australia.
And another stat, Spriggy. I think it's a record Brett Sprigg game too. We're going well over the 2-hour mark. Thank you, mate. Thank you, Dino. Thank you, Kiana. St.George, Illawarra 22, Cronulla, Sutherland 14. So the Sharks locked in on 28 points. The Dolphins can leapfrog both the Sharks and Brisbane if they win the next game coming up against the Sydney Roosters, that you'll hear with Zane Bojack on the call, with Billy Moore, and on debut former Cowboy John Manning on the touchline at Lang Park in Brisbane. That's coming up less than half an hour away. For the Dolphins, All Blacks Tawa and Tulikefu Finafuiaki start the game with Mark Nichols and Connolly Lemuelu to the bench. And for the Roosters, Benuelu and Spencer Leniu will start. Victor Radley and Connor Watson back to the bench. That's for the 5:30 game between the Brisbane Broncos, the Dolphins and the Sydney Roosters. The referee, Gerard Sutton, and Tyson Bruff in the bunker. I'm Andrew Moore with Matthew Elliott and Michael Carianis. And, Padre, very good win for the Dragons. They've now knocked off Canberra and the Sharks in back-to-back weeks, which might add to the frustration of St. George Illawarra supporters. And the Sharks, that's a really vital loss for them.
Yeah, well, again, going to the Dragons, as you said, Andrew, they've lost a lot of games narrowly this year, but I thought their resolve they showed in that second half, scrambling defence, was pretty impressive, albeit the Sharks' completion rate in that second half was a little bit of a gift to the Dragons as well. I think they were at one stage there, below 40%, which is, you can't do that in the NRL and expect to win.
Michael Carianis, welcome back to you. We said this could be the most important day of the season, and that certainly seems that way for the Sharks.
Yeah, hello Andrew, hello Matty. Yeah, massive result there for the Dragons, and in turn the Cronulla Sharks, who now just, they're in the top 8, but they might be just in the top 8 by 2 points by the end of the weekend. The way, depending on the Roosters Dolphins game, they'll be hoping that the Dolphins win, I guess, to keep that 4-point buffer between them and the 9th place Roosters. But yeah, good performance from the Dragons, and they're getting rewards for what's probably been a little bit unlucky in the past 2 months or so, where they've been close but haven't been able to get the job done. Two back-to-back wins, one against Canberra, and obviously another top 8 side in Cronulla. So yeah, really great performance from the Dragons.
Round the grounds, NRLW today, Cronulla Sutherland has beaten St. George Illawarra 20 points to 6, and Newcastle has completed a 30 points to 6 win over the West Tigers at Hunter Stadium, and that means the Tigers still without a win 6 rounds into the season. And coming up here at Stadium Australia, starting in about 5 minutes or so, Canterbury Bankstown against the New Zealand Warriors. New South Wales Cup, Canberra 32 defeated St. George Illawarra 14. Canterbury Bankstown and the Warriors. Warriors scored late to beat the Bulldogs 34-30. They're top of the table, the Warriors. Manuringa 30 defeated Newcastle 12. And full-time Penrith 26 has beaten Newtown 16. In the Jersey flag today, Dragons 26 defeated Canberra 10. Canterbury Bankstown 26 defeated the New Zealand Warriors 14. Newcastle 44 over Manly 16. Cronulla Sutherland third beat second. Sharks 24 beat Penrith 16. Fifth beat first. Parramatta 24 over Melbourne 18. And the West Tigers defeated the bottom of the table Silktails by 34 points to 22. Queensland Women's Rugby League, Sunshine Coast 34 defeated Central Queensland 10. Winner Manly over Western Clydesdale 16-10. Second half Northern Pride 20 leads North Devils 12. In the Queensland Cup, Burleigh Bears defeated the Dolphins 30 points to 12. Second half Central Queensland 8 leading Sunny Coast 6. And in the first half, Townsville and Wynnum Manly, no score. In the AFL, we had St Kilda over Richmond 56-52. And into the second quarter at the Gabba, Brisbane Lions 45. Brisbane Lions 45, leading the Sydney Swans 35. In the AFL, Brisbane Lions right near the top of the table. And in the New South Wales Women's Rugby League today, South 26 beat Central Coast 18. Newcastle 26 beat the West Tigers 6. And Mounties over Penrith by 20 points to 0. Your text messages remain welcome on 0467 920 222, 0467 920 222. This season really amazing. I'm enjoying the emergence of some different teams at the top of the ladder. Anything could happen in September, and I'm really looking forward to the Panthers Storm Grand Final again, says Mark from the ACT. Well, maybe a preview of that coming up next Thursday night, and the three of us will be there from 6:45 at Western Sydney Stadium, Melbourne, and the Penrith Panthers. All right, coming up next here on ABC Sport, one of the stars of Canberra Raiders' very successful season.
Get your footy fix live and ad-free with the ABC Listen app. Whatever footy you're after, we've got you covered. Called by ABC Sports expert commentary team. ABC Sports coverage of the footy on the ABC Listen app.
It's Connor Watson from the Sydney Roosters here. Rugby League has long been a place where Indigenous players can show their unique gifts on the footy field. ABC Sports coverage of the NRL's Indigenous round.
Well, the Canberra Raiders slipped from top spot to second spot, only lasted 24 hours because Canberra bounced back from a shock loss to St.George Illawarra the previous week to beat Manly Warringah last night, 28 points to 12. And there are so many success stories for the Canberra Raiders in 2025. Matt Timmacore, their centre, has been outstanding all year, and that shouldn't be a great shock. He's been a very good player for a few years now, Matt Timmacore, but he and Sebastian Chris in the centres have been one of the many shining lights for the Raiders, and Matt Timmacore joined us online. Matthew, how are you going?
Hey, good fellas, how are you?
Mate, very, very well. We appreciate your time, and obviously nice for you guys who have been so good at home this year. I think now you've won 10 of 11 or something along those lines. You just corrected things from that faux pas a week ago against the Dragons.
Yeah, obviously it was a tough game against the Dragons. We just were riddled with errors that game, and it was kind of hard to get a read on the weather. But yeah, it was a really good bounce back game from the boys, and yeah.
I'm sure you guys weren't using any excuses after the game in Wollongong, but I think most of us were giving Canberra a bit of a pass due to the conditions and the howling winds and the heavy rain and all of that. What was it like playing in those conditions?
Oh, it was tough, we just couldn't get our kicking game going, and obviously couldn't catch the ball either. So it was a bit of like I said, it was a tough game for us, but it was a game we made hard on ourselves.
Matty, well, what about your season as a whole at the club, mate? Like, I guess not even, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not even sure that you guys would have predicted that you'll be sitting on top of the competition ladder with a couple of rounds to go. Have you taken a moment just to reflect on how crazy this year's been so far?
Yeah, man, it's been awesome so far, eh? And, this year I've been trying to just really enjoy the ride. And like I said, I don't think there was a lot of people that kind of expected us to be in the position. We're supposed to be in the opposite side of the ladder. So, yeah, like I said, we're just riding it out this year, having fun with the boys. And, yeah.
Michael Carrianis, where did you pick Canberra to come this year?
First, mate. First, of course.
At the other end.
Oops. Mate, what about the dying stages last night? Corey Horsburgh, he started to see red a little bit. He's been pretty well contained, I guess, at times this year. But what do you guys do when the big man gets the crazy eyes?
Yeah, to be fair, Red's come a long way from obviously a couple of years ago when he had a few little minor incidents. But yeah, look, it's footy, tempers are going to flare, and it's just a competitiveness coming out of all of us. But yeah, look, it's not really a biggie. I think the big fella's going to fire up sometimes. But I think the best thing about that was that we all kind of came in as a pack and hunted together. So yeah, it was good.
Hey, Matt, coming out of last week's disappointment and, with a fairly difficult opposition like the Seagulls, what was your theme of the week riding into the last night's game?
I think just to be a bit more aggressive. I think, when we're at our best is when we're flying in the tackles, we're being aggressive with our defence, and obviously having tough runs through the middle. So that was probably a theme of the week, is just to be a bit more aggressive and to go into this game.
because it was a pretty tight first half, and what you were able to do in the second half was really impressive. What was the message from Ricky at half time?
Honestly, well, all of it was just to stick with what we're doing. I thought it's probably one of the best defensive performances that we've put out all year. Our attack's been probably the main focal point this year, but yeah, I thought our defence last night was outstanding, and that's probably what kept us in the game and is what won us in the end.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that goal line defence and what feedback you got from your coach after the game, because I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely something we've been working on, especially as a team and as a whole, but especially on our right edge, because I know, we've leaked a few tries, this year on our side. So it's been a big focal point for us at training, is just trying to gel together, everyone making sure we're all on the same page. And I thought we did that exactly last night, and yeah, we did really well.
Mate, I was just made an observation from the sideline about Josh Papali'i and his return after Origin. Like, I felt like he really turned the momentum of that second half around when he came back on the field. Is that just me, or have you got that feel as well?
Oh man, he's such a hard man to stop in his day, Papa. Like I said, he's heading into the back end of his career, but he's playing better. He's playing unreal footy at the moment, and those kickoff carries that he was taking, man, like I could see them all lining up for him, and he just bursts through them, and it just shows the strength that he has, and yeah, he's amazing.
We've seen what he's doing on the field, and he's a historic, in for Origin 3, back in the Origin caper in Queensland, have a stunning win and win the series, and his 319th game will forever be remembered for his couple of tries and for his successful goal kick. And we see all of this on the field with Big Papa, and now we're hearing it's more likely than not he'll remain at Canberra next year after we thought he was going to go to England. His impact away from the field on game day, though, what's that like, Matt? And has that changed this year with this fairy tale he's been writing?
Oh man, he's just got a presence wherever he goes. He's so highly respected in this club, and to be fair, he's earned every single one, every bit of it. And I think the big thing with Papa is, it doesn't matter who you are, whether you've played 0 games or you've played 300, he'll talk to you like, he's known you forever. So, just the humility that he has, and obviously the hard work you see on the field, he kind of, he's a Raider. So it's glad that he's staying here for another year, and yeah.
Another player who started yesterday for you guys was Ethan Strange. I'm sure you've seen him cut through defensive lines at training. What did you make of his performance last night?
Oh, he's outstanding, the kid. He's, for someone who's only 20 years of age, he's doing some unreal things at the moment in footy. And the thing with Strange is his best asset of his game is his run game. So when he's not trying to overthink things and just trying to run through people like he did yesterday is when he's at his best. And yeah.
Just as an extension, we talked about your defence, but your attacking play at the moment, the speed that you play over the ad line, and I think more than any other team in the competition, your response to second phase plays, just amazing. Do you practice that a lot at training?
Yeah, we do a little bit, bits of that. We're kind of broken plays on both sides of the field, attacking and defending. So yeah, it's usually, I think it's why it's working so well for us in the games so far.
Matty, you've been there through some good years and some less than great years at Canberra, but this year has the potential to be a legitimately great year. You're going into a bye, you're sitting on top of the competition table, you've got 3 games left. Your next game is against Penrith, and the 3 of us will be in Mudgee calling that game. That's going to be a massive event, especially at a regional area. That's going to be really cool. Then you're at home to the West Tigers, and in the final round of the season, your Canberra Raiders are away to the Dolphins, who might be playing for everything. So I understand you've got to be one game at a time, but there must be an excitement around the place, knowing that A, you might win the first minor premiership for the club in 35 years, which is incredible, and B, you're a legit chance of winning this competition.
Yeah, it is, and it's not only around the club, there's a buzz around the city as a whole. It's awesome to see as many fans turning up to the games. I think we're averaging more than we ever have since I've been here anyway. So it's good to see all the fans getting around it, and the big thing for us, I guess, is just not trying to overthink it and just take things at a time, 1 week at a time. So we've got our bye this week, so I'll enjoy that, enjoy the time off, and when it comes time to Penrith, we'll switch back on and get stuck into them.
So because you get this bye so late in the season, Matty, does Ricky ease up on things for you for this week? How's it going to play out leading into that Penrith game?
I think we are going to get a bit of time off. The boys have worked hard throughout the year to kind of cement our spot at the top at the moment. So I think they're going to repay us the favour and give us a bit of a week off, because we'll probably need it heading into the final stretch of the season.
Well, one last question then, Matty. So you're sitting on top of the table. You've been great all season as a club. Who's the best team you've faced? Who, if you are here at Stadium Australia on Grand Final day, do you think you'll most likely play?
I think the best team we've played so far has probably got to be Bulldogs. They kind of pulled our pants down at home. So they pulled our pants and kind of embarrassed us at home. So they're probably the best team that we've played at the moment. But I'm not too sure what's going to unravel within the coming weeks. But I'm just excited for everything that's coming up.
And I'm not sure what's going to happen in the coming hours. That's the way this season's going. But one thing we know, that the green machine continues to ride high on top of the table. Well done, Matt, on the whole season and the way you and your teammates have played. It's been so fun to watch, and I'm sure it will be over the next 8 weeks. Good luck for the remains.
Awesome. Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
Matt Timmercore from the Canberra Raiders joining us in the NRLW here at Stadium Australia. The New Zealand Warriors have opened the scoring with a try to winger Peyton Takimawana, and the conversion just been missed by Patricia Maliepo. Warriors 4, Canterbury Bankstown 0 after only 4.5 minutes. And earlier today in the NRLW, Cronulla Sutherland 20 defeated St.George Illawarra 6. Newcastle 30 beat West 6. Here with Matt Elliott, Michael Carianis, I'm Andrew Moore. Shortly to Zane Bojack, Billy Moore and John Manning at Lang Park in Brisbane. On the text line 0467 920 222. I guess most tipsters, experts and others tipping comp picks are still in trouble so far. It makes for a great season. Guys, cheers for the call. Many upsets the last fortnight. Heading home from refereeing in Warrialda. At least it didn't snow on the field this week. Brian from Umina, due to our ridiculous points for buy system, Sharks have 2 points up their sleeve. Yeah, they've still got a bye to go, don't they, the Sharkies? Oh, this is nice. Get a dog up you, Andrew.
Yeah, get one.
Woof.
It's not my dog, though. It's too cute. You like Maxie?
What? Hey. Do I like Maxie, your dog?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it better than that text message. I like your dog better than that message.
I'll send you a photo.
0467 920 222. No, just leave me out of that. That's fine. That's fine.
Bit of mail, Andrew.
What do you got?
So there's a bit of suggestions that I picked up in the corridor over the last half an hour or so that Reid Marnie might start off the bench for Canterbury.
Why would they do that?
I'm not sure. So put that in pencil.
Okay.
Hayward to start at hooker potentially.
And the other mail you had was Tanner Boyd's been dropped from the Warriors.
That's 100%.
That's 100%. Tomari Martin, we assume, will be the starting half or in the halves with Chanel Harris-Tavita. The weather here is holding at the moment. We had some rain a little bit earlier whilst listening to the Dragons-Sharks game, but at the moment it's okay and looking a lot brighter. So the Bulldogs will be desperately hoping that's the case, Matty. We've only got 90 seconds left here before we head to Brisbane, but for Canterbury, does that just get in their heads, the players?
Well, it must do, Andrew. And again, with some of the distractions that we just talked about, changing their hooker, who's Reid Marnie, for all his, discipline issues, his pass from dummy half's as good as you'll see in the NRL. So in bad conditions, not having the best pass is not a great thing.
Yeah, because there's no real reason to be different in the wet these days compared to when you were playing, Matty, when the grounds became mud heaps and with the slippery old leather balls that they used to use. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah, but with young people, I can kind of just remember being one. Getting distracted is not a difficult thing to have. So if you haven't performed in the wet weather, you'll certainly be thinking about it, even though you won't be thinking about it. Whatever we do, we won't be thinking about it.
6.5 minutes gone, NRLW, and it's 4-0. Warriors lead the Bulldogs. All right, Michael, Dolphins Roosters.
I don't want to think about it.
Who's going to win this one? Dolphins. What about you, Padre? Dolphins. Roosters.
Tight one, though.
I think Roosters might get that. Very, very tight one. All right. We'll be back at halftime to preview in more detail our game here between Canterbury, Bankstown and the New Zealand Warriors. Still a couple of hours away from kickoff. And what a blockbuster, really, third against fifth at the moment. All right. In the meantime, I'll go and get a dog up me and we head to Lang Park in Brisbane. Zane Bojack, g'day to you.
Oh, Andrew, what a way to throw. And look, it's going to be a great game of football here tonight, I've got no doubt, and certainly down where you are as well. This football season just continues to change and produce results, and who knows what's going to happen tonight between the 8th ranked Dolphins and the 9th ranked Roosters, both coming off great wins last week. The Dolphins over in New Zealand, the Roosters at Brookie against a Manly side that are as desperate as they were, and looking forward to this contest and what's going to be slightly overcast conditions as we move into the night. Couple of changes to the lineups. It's 1-17 with the Dolphins having Trey Fuller as their 18th man, but they have swapped Mark Nichols back onto the bench, and that means that Albrix Tafa has gone into the starting side, and also Connolly Lemu Alu has gone onto the bench, and that means that Kulikefu Finifuiaki comes back from his thumb injury and also goes straight into the side. For the Roosters, just like last week, we're going to see the starting hooker being Ben Uelu, and we're going to see Connor Watson start off the bench, and also Victor Radley goes back there as well, with Spencer Leniu coming into the front row and Nafahu White going into the lock position. Billy Moore, we've got a team on 26 points with a plus 171 differential up against a team in ninth on 24 points and plus 20. Really, there's a game the Roosters have to win if they want to stay in touch with the 8.
G'day, Zato, and all our wonderful listeners. Hello, you're right. It's a huge game in the context of the season for both these sides and so many other teams around. This is one of the best seasons I've seen in a long time. From where I'm sitting now, this game is so important. There's 5 rounds to go, including this one for these two sides. The Dolphins have to win 2 of their 5 with such a good form against second best in the competition. I think they'll enough to get them into the 8 for the first time in the history. For the Roosters, for mine, they've got to win 4 from 5. That's how important this game is. It's almost in that must-win category. It's a blockbuster. There's so many contests to like, so many clashes. The battle of the ones, the Desco, the Hammer, how good's that? Katoa versus Walker, the Sevens. There's 2 young princes in the Sevens jersey. Which one gets the honours tonight? It's such a great game, but more than anything else for the supporters, their whole seasons can hinge on this one game.
Absolutely, and the Arthur Beetson Legacy Medal will be competed for. These two sides played against each other in round 1 of 2023 when the Dolphins came into the competition. They've got a fair crowd in tonight, and we'll get some more information on that very shortly from a man who's on debut, played 15 times for the Cowboys, works with ABC Brisbane up here in Queensland, and looking forward to being part of the coverage this evening. John Manning, what's it like down there at sideline level?
G'day Zano, g'day Billy. Well, it's about 17 degrees, but it's a bit hotter down here on ground level. We've had fireworks and we've had bursts of fire in celebration of Indigenous Round. As you mentioned, Zane, competing for the Artie Beetson Legacy Medal, there is a welcome to country and a smoking ceremony going on right now. Both teams will run out the centre tunnel and form a boomerang in order of that celebration. It's an intriguing matchup, this. I want to point out the matchup between the two centre pairings. Eerily similar. With the Dolphins, you have Max Feagai and Tavita Nafahu. Nafahu, a schoolboy rugby star from St. Kentigern's College in Auckland, and Feagai, almost in that veteran category, bouncing in and out of first grade, now finding his feet. And then with the Roosters, you have Robert Toya, a schoolboy rugby star at St. Joseph's College, Nudgee, now an Origin player, and Billy Smith, who has really started to cement himself in that centre spot after bouncing in and out of first grade as well. Robert Toya celebrating his 21st birthday on Monday as well. What a matchup we've got today.
Absolutely, and he was a former Dolphin, which makes it so tangible here tonight. And as you mentioned, we've got some players out there wearing their national colours as well as their Indigenous jerseys, in particular the Torres Strait flag for Habaso Tabuai Fado. He is a product of Sabu Island, and certainly that's why we see that shark celebration celebration when he scores because it's part of his totem. And also Joshy Kerr's out there as a proud Quandamooka man. He's got the Indigenous flag on, and so Connor Watson's representing his people as well, the Gamilaroi people. So as the smoke goes around, this boomerang which has the two teams surrounding Shannon Rusker, who's about to do a welcome to country. They're embracing that smoke. How good is Indigenous round? It's a very important part of our league season, and here's Shannon Rusker to conduct a welcome to country.
In our language, we say Biki Karamba, which means hello war. Which means you gather on our lands. Tonight we have performed a tumu, and a tumu is a smoking ceremony. It's a cleansing that we do as the Aboriginal people of the particular lands of where you gather. No matter where we go, over 300 different tribes. This is how we seek our permissions, and this is how we are blessed. Now, on my dad's side is the Yagara Turrbal of Brisbane. On my mother's side, I am 6th generation Aussie. And on that side is the Catholic.